Alright, we're good.
Be like,
Bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys.
Bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bussin' With The Boys. Let's have a round of applause. As always, we have the boys in the back. And if you are here joining us for the first time for the Donald Trump interview, let me please introduce myself and my co-host. My name is Taylor Lewan. To my right, William Earl Compton III. Couple of good old boys that decided to take care of a dream and follow our passions and end up in the NFL, meet in 2018, and now we have a beautiful bus that we do a podcast. You might be looking around, seeing the spooky stuff around you. Big holiday boys. Love the holidays. And if you could do us a favor and just please, for the love of God, press that subscribe button. It doesn't hurt you and it helps us all the more. Now,
what a weekend. Obviously, we had Trump on. For everybody who's unfamiliar with our show, in the beginning, we do an intro where we recap the weekends. The boys, we were just at Ohio State at Oregon. We got to celebrate with Coach Delanie. We will get into that stuff. We do our segments. We recap the NFL weekend, and then we drop our latest interview, which is, Donald Trump, the biggest interview we've ever done in our lives.
We've ever had by far. And you know, one of the most polarizing individuals in the world right now. It is a long time coming. Obviously, we want to give a big shout out to Dana White for making this whole entire thing happen.
1,000%.
Being
Shout
able
out
to
to boy Dana.
Being able to meet Mr. Trump at the UFC fights, shake his hand, talk to him a little bit. A lot of people are going to be stoked about this interview, and a lot of people are not going to be stoked about this interview. Here's what I'll say to that. We had the opportunity to sit down with a former president who was a leader of the free world, and I think that is really cool. And if you have a problem with that, then that's super unfortunate. Also want to give a shout out to Alex, Dana's right-hand man. Good guy. Really was like all about the brand and the boys. He was a good hang when we were at Trump Tower in Chicago. The dude's an awesome guy.
Right.
Handles
Follows the
himself.
Barstool universe a little bit.
Yep,
We
absolutely.
had a good time with him. Look, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say about this entire thing. We created this show to answer the question, how do we bring the locker room to life through our content and personalities? When we started this thing, 4 or 5 years ago, when we started this podcast, it was just a couple of boys playing in the NFL. We own all of our stuff. We were in the middle of a gravel parking lot operating off of a generator and a cell phone hotspot in the middle of July, in the middle of 100-degree heat, all trying to basically build a real brand, use our network. We're messaging athletes, we're messaging entertainers. We're trying to tap into our network to build something that's real, create a community, and lean on something when we're done transitioning in the NFL. And like you said, there will be people who love this interview. There will be people who question why we did this interview. And we are aware that there will be some that are disappointed, right?
Yes.
And ultimately, we know that there's going to be a reaction, both good and bad. And ultimately, it goes to, we were talking about, hey, is this a path we go down? You know, I'm talking to my wife. She's a small business owner. Shout out Bar 3, Nashville. But you're in the situation of hey, do you go here? Do you go there? We can say we're not political. We can say we're not a political podcast. At the end of the day, we have to accept the fact that we sat down with a political figure. We do accept that. And ultimately, man, it's you're not going to make everybody happy. We're fired up to do this interview. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. And again, we get to kind of embrace our style. And I think a lot of people, when they come to our show, they know we have fun. They know we can laugh at ourselves. They know we like to thrust ourselves in the middle of topics of conversation going on in the world, in the country. And the chances that we've been taking since 2019 have gotten us to this opportunity to sit down with arguably the biggest name, if not the biggest name in the world right now. And that's something, it's there's going to be a lot of new audience that are coming that don't necessarily know what we're about. And I would assume that there's going to be a lot of football fans, a lot of family people, a lot of proud fathers. Shout out the girl dads out there, a young audience that's going to be like, oh, what's Bussin' With The Boys? You want to add it to your repertoire, your repertoire.
Shout out
every
Mitch
week.
on that word.
Because every Tuesday we are here at 6 a.m. releasing Bussin' With The Boys, where we recap the weekends. We recap football. If we are now in the football season as 2 ex-NFL players, 18 years, 3 Pro Bowls amongst the both of us. We recap the weekend and then we dish out our latest interview. On Thursdays, we have a new show we released this year called The Locker Room, where it's all sports talk, all ball talk, where we preview the weekend, college and NFL. We talk sports gambling, sports betting. So if you are a new audience member tuning into this, I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button, leave comments throughout the episode, and that's all I have to say about that.
Hey, well said.
Thank you.
You did a
Thank
great
you.
job painting a picture.
I've been thinking about this a lot. You know what I mean? Like we had the opportunity to sit down and you know the world we kind of thrust ourselves into, whether we want to be in it or not.
Right.
It is, again, it's like we were talking kind of like pinching ourselves like, bro, 4 or 5 years ago, and we're just trying to make this thing happen.
Just trying to figure out, literally sitting on this bus and thinking to ourselves, it wouldn't be sick if we got a sponsor.
Right.
And where it's
right.
like, yo, this is actually an actual business when nobody.
Yeah. Could we actually make money on this thing and do this thing for a living when we're done playing?
No active athlete is doing a podcast right now. Let's jump in and just see what this whole thing is.
Yeah. I mean, look at us.
Just a couple of idiots.
Just sitting on this this empty bus in the beginning talking about how we wipe our ass.
Front wiper, back wipe. That was a big conversation. That was a big topic.
If
one
you're
that
a
still
stander or
reigns
you're a
today.
sitter. Yeah.
So, yeah. And I also think that there used to be a world where people would have their differences of their opinions and it'd be like, all right, let's have a conversation about it. Let's do it. If you guys want to have that feeling of you oppose this podcast, feel free to say it in the comments. Feel free to also keep your mind open to everything that's happening, because we've reached out to people that would have Kamala on our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
We're waiting to hear back from them, but this is not like we're essentially drawing a line in the sand and just being like, this is what we're doing. So I just hope that people listen, really enjoy it, and just have fun with it. Because at the end of the day, I think we're lacking a lot of that right now. Is enjoying.
There's a lot of good humor in this podcast. A lot of good humor. Yes, I wiggled in Nebraska into the interview, so
had to.
You'll love that.
Absolutely had to. But now that we've addressed the Trump thing, and I hope you guys love it. I hope you guys really enjoy it. This weekend, going to Eugene, Oregon, to watch the Ducks take on the Buckeyes was a classic fucking game. This game was amazing. Now, the boys in the back and Will Compton himself during the spring tour, they went to Eugene, Oregon, and I was somewhere else for a little bit of time, doing something. We were doing something out there. We were up to something out there. I come back, I say, how was it? Literally, all of you guys were like, Eugene is incredible. It's an amazing place. The vibes are awesome. Dan Lanning, this guy is great. Who's the receiver?
Tez
Johnson,
Dylan
Gabriel, all these guys, incredible, like literally singing the praises of the Oregon Duck players, coaches, and fan base. So I was very, very excited to go down to Eugene. Now,
you had a great analogy when we were at the airport too.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys essentially like, hey, let us hold the aux, show you this new song. And he was like, it exceeded our expectation of it.
It really did. Because you also brought up a good point in the airport. It's Sunday right now. We actually just landed.
Yeah, we just landed,
Eugene,
traveling
like literally
everywhere. You got a
30 minutes ago.
4.5 hour flight to Portland, drive 2 hours down to Eugene.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trip.
Which brings me to what I was going to say is it's amazing that they get these 4 and 5 star athletes and get that type of speed, that type of talent in such a small town area in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
A place that you literally it's like so hard to get to. Now, campus is beautiful. Shout out Animal House. I had no idea that Oregon or Animal House, the movie, was filmed at that university. Got to see the administrative building, got to see those immaculate trees. Myself, JP for a moment, and then Will Compton jumped in. We got to essentially take our shoes off in the middle of campus, feed squirrels, hide in bushes, touch different trees. And you probably think these guys were high.
We touched some trees.
Oh, these cats were super high. Maybe on life, because we were not high at that moment later in the day. Maybe, but not in that entire moment. The place is gorgeous. The trees are massive.
Yeah.
The campus is beautiful, and the people, you would have thought that Will Compton and I went to school there. That's how much they fucked with Bussin' With The Boys.
And also it's like the one moment we got to have with Coach Lanning where we stormed the field, he's shaking Coach Day's hand, and we happen to be right there in the mix. That one moment you got to have with Coach Lanning probably said everything you needed to know about the guy.
Right. Because you guys, I've never truly spoken to Dan before. Now, you did shoot me his contact information. I do appreciate that. I'm sending him a text message today.
Yeah.
But him turning around, seeing Will, glancing at me, and then just starts screaming for the boys, for the boys. Roughhoused us a little bit.
Yeah.
Grabbed me. There's a photo.
Former linebacker. He's a former linebacker.
Yeah, got the jersey cranked. That thing, he was holding that thing like fucking crazy. The dude has got the fucking juice.
Second hug.
Now the second hug is
second
wild.
hug, like,
It is,
hey,
like I was trying to enjoy the moment too much. I was
Yeah,
this
like
really is
no,
something
you put
special.
your arms around me.
Yeah. We got to, before the game, and we're kind of jumping all over the place, but we got to, before the game, go and listen to Dan Lanning's pregame speech. I don't know. Do we want to give it away? The things
Run
he
it
was
right
saying?
now. Run this speech. We'll come back to it, but right now, run this speech.
Great. Now, dude.
Keystone Predator.
Keystone. It was Keystone Species.
Keystone Species.
They disrespect us. We're in the Big Ten now. Well, let me tell you, fellas, the Keystone Species just showed up.
I'm talking about juice.
Dog.
Went up the spine.
Literally just sitting in the back, and you just hear guys in the back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, and then Ohio State's wearing all white. As they're walking in the locker room, dudes are like, if you see white, put your fucking hands on it. Put your hand on some grown ass men. I'm thinking,
bro,
dude,
it took you back.
It took you back. It really fucking did. Where you're like, yo,
you know what I'm saying?
That's why you play the game.
It's like you get back and the excitement, the fear, the anxiety, the doubt, but also you're not believing your doubt. You're just trying to hype the boys like we're about to go into fucking war. You felt all of that before the game. You felt the environment, the stage. I mean, Ohio State at Oregon, the whole student section was packed 2 hours before kickoff, bro. I'm talking a committed ass student section.
One Ohio State fan walks down and they fucking booed his ass out of that little area.
Dude, it was incredible.
Insane.
It was fucking incredible. And how many times does the score change? Like how many times?
Like 7, 8 times. It was wild. Absolutely wild. And dude, that stadium, only 60,000. I think they had their record breaking attendance.
Their world record.
The Eugene world record breaking attendance of 60 like something thousand people. 60 like 300. And that place was fucking rocking.
It was rocking, bro. We got to go to game day in the morning. That was all time. People camping out there overnight. Like, it was sick. Now, I will say, when the sun goes down and the moon comes up, it is a little bit of Walking Dead-esque.
You got some
the crazies come out. The
there.
Unique crew out there comes out. If you get one block outside of the pocket of Oregon football, like, it
gets spooky.
It's a little dicey.
It gets spooky.
I was telling the boys, like, we went to this sushi spot. Shout out Pure Sushi, but it ran straight through me and I had to shit. And thank God for the Subway. Cat, he was a Bussin' With The Boys listener. He let me back in the bathroom. I take a shit and I'm in a bad spot because I look up, there's no toilet paper. So I like stand up to myself and like waddle over to the paper towel machine and just start, and I'm just raw dogging.
Yeah.
Raw dogging the asshole. But I get outside of Subway because, we're trying to make a little Dairy Queen stop. The boys are parked down the road and I see some cat walk by me. And this was like a little psycho motherfucker. He had on like a fully blacked out mask. Like you couldn't see his eyes. You couldn't see anything on him. And he like said something to me, kind of offhanded said something to me. Your boy was up in the clouds at that point. So I didn't really know what was going on. But I thought to myself, I feel like I'm in a little bit of danger.
Yeah.
You're
running like solo too, because we're in the car.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like I knew you guys were close, and when he said it to me, I was on the phone with you speaker, so I'm thinking to myself, if something happens here, I can just start like yelling. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Taylor,
yeah.
Taylor.
Hey, we got somebody.
That would have been
because it was a little
wild.
I felt a little
all of us
uneasy.
in the car, you just hear Will go, "Help!" We just get in the car and run,
bro.
That is wild. Yeah. Eugene is at the tale of two stories there when it comes to daytime. Like daytime, beautiful, people are wonderful, everyone's having a good time. Everyone just seems like the shoulders are a little less tense. Nighttime falls.
Yeah, it's a little bit.
It's
Spooktober.
Thank God
it
was
Spooktober.
It was 31 days of fright. But yeah, the game itself, man, was awesome. I mean, Ohio State goes down and scores right away. And you even see like the off the bus thing. We were watching both teams warm up.
Yeah.
Oregon's offensive line, they're not big cats. They're
not
a
the
little
biggest. They don't
shorter,
compare
they're
to
a
like
little
Ohio
smaller.
State.
Yeah, and then you see Ohio State, and it's like these dudes might be outmatched from like a bigger standpoint.
Because they drove it down that first drive. And then I want to say they forced them to punt when Oregon came out for their first drive. And I was kind of like, damn, are the boys going to be able?
Yeah, you
are
get
they
kind of
talented
nervous.
enough?
Like,
yeah, is there
man.
a talent deficit here? But obviously.
They found number 10.
Right. They found number 10.
The cornerback for Ohio State, number 10. Oh, my God, he was getting cooked. He was getting cooked.
He's one of the best corners in the country, apparently. Too.
No, he's not.
Apparently.
We found out.
Yeah, I mean, they went after him, bro. Number 7, Stewart.
Yeah, he was
Tez
going
Johnson.
crazy.
I mean, it was wild. I felt bad for him.
I mean,
was
Dylan
like, fuck.
Gabriel was throwing bombs over Baghdad there for a minute, dude.
yeah.
It
bro.
was wild.
That was a Dylan Gabriel legacy game, too.
It really was.
Shout out to boy Dylan Gabriel.
And the thing that was scary is in the first half, Ohio State did a great job of running the ball, controlling the clock, getting 4 yards in a cloud of dust, making a 10-yard pass, really just bouncing their way down. And it seemed, I'll have to go back and watch the film, but it seemed to me that Oregon's biggest success were these X plays, these 20-plus yard plays that you can't, like, that's not a life you can live throughout 60 minutes of football. At least we thought, because it ended up working out for them. But you go into that second half and you're like, is this when the Big Ten kind of takes over from a physicality standpoint, a run you down standpoint, all that? A couple miscues by Oregon too. Going for 2. Listen, I love creativity in play calling. Something about just having your center and then everybody over there, everybody goes on the far hash.
The swinging gate.
Something about that to me, man. That's like you do that once a year.
Maybe every other
I'm pretty
year.
sure they did it twice in this game. And I'm just, I love the X's and O's of the game. I love watching. I like seeing the game and the strategic standpoint from each team. And I thought when the first one didn't work, it's like, let's never go back to that.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it too, like, offensively, like you might just start in that position, just see if they match up correctly.
Right. And then you bring it all back in. Because I thought early in the game, they had a lot of success running the ball. They had success getting those 3-4 yards. And so, you get in that 2-yard line, 2.5-yard line, whatever it is for a 2-point conversion. It's like, you can make that happen. Now, the kicker for Oregon, early in the game, botches a kick to where they could have gone up. They had a bad hold on a PAT. And then later, when they could, it should have been like going up 10-7. They missed the 3 from a decent distance. Now they go back after they score.
There was a penalty they got enforced for that kickoff.
Yeah,
when he shot it off Buddy's chest.
Right, dude. That kick, the confidence of that kicker to hammer fuck a ball into somebody's chest and have that thing bounce back when the boys get it. Like that is,
that was awesome.
That's like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
There's no way. And JP said it, dude, on the field. He's like, could you imagine being the player that the ball hit him in the chest? Like he has got to be on Suey watch, just feeling like that.
That was number 10. He had a tearaway jersey on for number 48. That was number 10.
No, it was in the same corner.
You even made the joke. He was like, oh, they might need to do that for number 10. Like, oh, number 10 is now number 51. But that was him?
You're lying. Are you being serious?
Swear to God.
It looks just like him.
That's a fake.
That's the corner?
Yeah, that's like another jersey so that you have the same number on the field. That is.
That's like, reminds me of like the Replacements where he's like looking around. Wait. Is it the Replacements?
The Waterboy.
What?
There's my.
Yeah. Waterboy, where he's looking around, figuring out who he's gonna try to kick it off of, and this dude's like standing there, all nervous and scared. He's like, "There's my bitch."
Can you tell me that kid's name?
I think it's Denzel Burke.
Denzel Burke, number 10 for Ohio State.
I think so.
Denzel, if you happen to come across this video, this podcast,
yeah.
Obviously, I hate Ohio State. But brother, there's no worse feeling than being in that position of being vulnerable and just a snowball effect.
Yeah.
Just
where nobody's coming to save you.
Keep swinging through it, brother. Sometimes you get in those slumps, man. You can everybody can make it out. So I hope you do, and then you don't the third week of November, and also in 2 weeks against Nebraska. But I hope, just for your mentals, my boy, we've all fucking been there.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've all. Tell him about the Ezekiel Elliott breaking you off twice.
No, I don't.
It's gonna make him feel better.
I don't want to relive that.
It's gonna make him feel better.
In a row in Ezekiel Elliott.
Right.
Now, it was like one of those ones where I'm laying on the turf, like, God fucking help me.
Yeah.
Everyone's watching this right now.
Right.
This is the worst.
Thanksgiving.
It's probably the lowest. Lowest part of my playing career.
People just trying to eat their food and enjoy a game.
Yeah, Thanksgiving. Everybody's watching.
Yeah.
I'm missing Zeke. He's doing the feed me, keep feed me.
Right.
I'm like, please, God.
For the love of God, stop feeding him.
Yeah.
I think he's full. I think that man is full.
Yeah.
And for me, Chandler Jones, September 2021, Arizona Cardinals versus the Titans. First play of the game, run an outside zone to my side. What happens? Quick inside move for a TFL. I'm going to let you know, brother, it got way worse after that, okay? My wife told me to my face, it's the worst football game I've ever seen anybody play in my life.
Yeah.
So listen.
That was like, holy shit, what a bad game by you.
How terrible. Buda Baker put me on my ass. If you guys don't know who that is,
that's
a safety, bro. A safety. That's how you know you just officially have the yips.
Yeah,
like
bro.
turning
Keep
your
head
hips. Just you don't need Sherman. You don't need to pull up all the things. Let me just explain to the people what happened.
Just keep your head up.
It sucks. All right.
Get back in the fight. Get back in the fight.
You see an offensive tackle's legs like that? Vulnerable. Hey, that is a vulnerable position to be in.
And make sure to put these references in there too, so that way if he is watching. All right, cool.
That is. Please stop. Hey, stop zooming in on my little legs. Hey, those cleats go hard though. Fun fact about those cleats. Those are the same cleats I tore my ACL in. And I kept those cleats. And the day before, I was like, these are the cleats I'm going to have for redemption. I burned those cleats after that game. Those cleats are like the conjuring of all cleats. They have a demon inside of them. But it was an incredible game, man. And then storming the... Oh, God damn it. We're peppering me out here. I'm getting peppered.
Face down.
For the love of God, it's open season on Lewan right now. I'm assuming this is our most viewed podcast of all time. And you got to go and put this shit up here. You got to go and put all that.
But overall, incredible.
I told him to pull that up, but you have to explain the lore. I feel like if you don't know the pod, you got to explain the lore.
What do I have to explain?
Yeah, the lore of what? Go ahead.
Of you guys.
What's the lore? What does lore mean?
Explain it, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah, lore is like backstory. It's just like what's created you guys, and you know.
Yes.
Yeah, our failures, adversity.
Failure makes the man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
It's always you versus yesterday.
Yeah.
Bring that up.
Shout out Marcus Mariota. Yes, dude, I will bring that up. JP just said in the back he didn't have a microphone on. He said bring that up. So obviously we're in Eugene. Marcus Mariota, top 2, if not number 1 quarterback I've ever blocked for in my entire life. I hit the boy up. I say, hey, man, we're in Eugene. It's beautiful. I give him the whole immaculate trees thing. This place is special. I do believe that Eugene is a special place. He's like, hey, I'm fired up. Make sure you go to this place or that place. I fucking love those trees, dude. You saw when we were driving into it. Man, I got to get a tree like that.
Yeah.
And purple.
Sorry.
It's all right, G. So Marcus hits me up before on game day, and he goes, hey, get with Kenny before the game. He has a gift for you. And I'm thinking it's going to be, I don't know. I have no idea what it's going to be, but it's like a gift. I'm like, I'm pretty stoked on it. So I hit up Kenny, and I'm like, hey, we'll be at the game. We'll be in the locker room. Hopefully I can meet you. And so we're on the sideline watching the boys warm up. And I've never met Kenny before. He walks up, and he gives me a game worn with the Pac-12 symbol on it, number 8, blacked out Marcus Mariota jersey. And in the collar of the jersey, it says, you versus yesterday.
No, yeah, that's
and that is
legendary.
One of the best gifts I've ever been given.
And Marcus, you need to go back and visit Oregon more.
Yes,
straight up,
bro.
you need to go back and visit Oregon more, bro. You got to show love to the fans because they are obsessed with you.
Marcus, they love you so much. I had bunches of people come up to me and just be like, thank you for protecting Marcus. Thank you for doing that thing with Richard Sherman after he hit Marcus. It was truly
the Arrow story was coming back a lot.
Yeah, a lot. That's Josh Norman. But people were truly in Eugene. You would have thought like I played there or something.
Yeah.
With some of these people coming up and being like, that's how much they love you, Marcus.
The love was awesome too for Bussin and everything else. Rennie's, shout out Rennie's.
Yeah.
We did a meet and greet there. It was packed. They say there's only like a few bars there. That was one of them, but it was packed, wrapped around the block. Oregon fans, Ohio State fans, everybody embracing the boys. Like that was a great time.
It was amazing.
That was a great time.
It was a special time.
A+ visit. Where would you rank it this year on stops?
Oh, I think that's number 1 this year.
A&M, Nebraska, Michigan, and Oregon.
I would say that's number 1. The only thing that would have a jump on it would be the Nebraska-Michigan one, but Michigan lost.
But separate them. You got to separate them. Which games?
Oh, games, yeah. That's the number 1. I think it's not close.
No,
if you're just strictly talking about the game.
There was a ton of back and forth.
Environment.
There was a ton of back and forth on Twitter over the weekend that Oregon was ranked in the top 5 for loudest stadiums in college football. Would y'all rank it in the top 5? Was it that loud?
So.
I mean,
No.
that atmosphere was really damn good.
Yeah.
That atmosphere is really damn good, especially because they can only get like 60,000 in there.
Tops.
But it is loud. Like it was a loud place. Like that atmosphere was all time.
Architecturally too, that stadium is one of the coolest stadiums I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure.
'Cause
Like
we
somebody
pulled up-
after the game, Sherm came up and was like, "Hey, what do you think of loudness to Nebraska?" I was like, "Nebraska?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, come on, man. It's a little bit different."
Hey, Kearney.
But I will say you
Kearney
guys
asked
had
me
an
the same
incredible-
question.
4 straight penalties. The crowd calls.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's happened in the Titans game before too, though. So
It was loud. No, it was very loud.
It
It was
was
very
loud.
loud. Legit. Like that was an
Yeah,
awesome
but, like,
atmosphere.
Nebraska's louder, Penn State's louder, LSU's
See,
louder.
I haven't been to the Penn State, but people talk about the whiteout. People say that that's like, because there's a gal we were sitting up there in the press box with. Yeah, because she went to the Nebraska-Colorado game, and she was like, yo, maybe the loudest. She's like, the only edge I would give is probably Penn State because she's been there so many more times.
And then I haven't been to Neyland, but you guys say it's one of the loudest. And then the South Carolina-Tennessee game when they had that big upset, that was louder too. So there's 5 off the bat
Yeah.
right there.
Neyland gets insanely loud. That was one place where I'm standing there, and it's like, okay, this one I would give over Nebraska for sure.
Also A&M was loud.
A&M was loud, but it wasn't as loud as I thought it would be, I guess. Right? Like maybe it was the expectation in my head. Like maybe I had lower ones for Oregon, and since it outdid it, I'm excited about it. But A&M, I felt like it wasn't what I remembered when I played there in like 09 or 2010 or something like that.
To me, there's no bite to A&M. It's like they're cheering because they love Texas A&M University, not because they love Texas A&M football.
Right.
So there's no like nastiness.
Yeah, it's a good point.
To like the stadium.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Speaking of nastiness, nicest fans aside from probably Nebraska we've ever dealt with. Like,
yeah, they were awesome.
Welcome to Oregon. How's your time in Oregon? When we stormed that field, dudes were just grabbing me by the chest, going, "Hey, welcome to you, Jan!" Like just fired up to be
the
there.
storm was awesome.
There was one fan. There was one fan that wasn't super nice to you.
The duck.
No, the Ohio State guy.
Hey, Taylor Lewan. Yeah. He goes, "Yep, fuck you."
Fucking
No,
suck.
he goes, "You suck." All right. Literally right outside the stadium. Taylor, yeah? You suck. All right. Just
You gotta
kept it
love
moving,
that, though.
man.
Gotta love
that.
it.
Gotta
Gotta
love
love
that.
it.
Is this the Ohio State fan getting booed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, it was
that's how I stayed
awesome.
getting booed
It
right
was
there.
awesome.
Just sending him, like, he was in the middle of the entire student section.
Yeah.
They're just like, get him out of here.
Very impressed with the
Yeah.
student section.
Impressive student
Right.
section.
And it was awesome too because like for us, we obviously have to plan out like, okay, are we gonna go to college game day? Hey, we might have to come back by the hotel. Like it could take this long, it could take that long because usually there's a lot of traffic. Again, once you get outside like one block of the pocket of Oregon football, like we're sitting down and eating breakfast with not a lot of traffic. We're eating at Pure Sushi. We just walked up. We didn't have a reservation or nothing the night before on a Friday night before the biggest game they've ever hosted, and we're getting seated right away. Like there's like no traffic. You get to kind of just go around wherever you want to.
Yeah.
In a minute's notice. It was an awesome weekend.
Yeah, it was awesome. What about beauty of campus? How do we feel about that? Where do we rank that?
It's kind of, yeah.
Oh, we're at
Okay.
30 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides beauty of campus, Garrett, JP, your guys' teams duked it out. South Carolina, brutal loss for the Gamecocks.
Just awful.
Field goal kicker misses a kick toward the end.
Yeah.
Bam almost gets beat again.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing like Sunday watching the AP Top 25 poll come out, seeing Alabama number 7, LSU number 8, and knowing that we were controlling our own destiny in those games until
One
the
play
last.
away from beating both of those teams.
Yeah, and it's just a familiar feeling. We're close. You got to give Beamer time. You got to go back, look at Spurrier's records when he came to South Carolina. Spurrier is one of the greatest coaches of all time. Their records are very similar, like at this point in their coaching career. And South Carolina it's a hard place to win at, so it's going to take more time than Jim Harbaugh going back to Michigan, even though it took him a while to get to the national championship.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it sucks. Y'all saw me on Saturday for a little while. It's just
Hurt.
pain, man. It's stuff you feel like you don't deserve.
Yeah. You were down too. I was like, fuck, we might have lost JP for the entire day.
Then we got around the Oregon crowd.
He's gonna bounce back, no problem.
Yeah. I tell you
think I
what,
bounce back.
college football is going. The playoff is set up beautifully, bro. Like Texas has obviously handled business, but now, obviously, before the season, you look at Oklahoma and Michigan as games for them that they'll be tested. Not saying that they weren't tested, but they've handled their schedule how they've handled it. They're number one. They're kind of like the only team where it's like, all right, when are they going to get a game where it's like, are they for real like they're showing to be right now? Because everybody else has beat each other. They look beatable. Like Oregon's obviously undefeated, but that game was legitimately a 2-3 team. Like Ohio State's still a really good football team, but the college football playoff is shaping up to be one of the best. I mean, Iowa State's in the top 10. No shout out. Navy and Army are in the top 25.
Crazy.
Texas has Georgia this week.
Yeah, massive game. Texas, Georgia.
Georgia.
We will be at Alabama, Tennessee. Where are we going to be at noon?
The Hill.
We're going to be at the Hill at noon this weekend in Knoxville, Tennessee. So the boys will be there, be present for the Bama, Tennessee game. But yeah, big games this weekend, especially with Texas, Georgia. But again, college football landscape is amazing right now.
To all the Tennessee fans listening, you got to show these guys love, because we just came off a hot trip at Oregon where people were absurdly nice. So if you're listening, call the boys out, say what's up. Will and Taylor would happily talk for hours on end with you guys. No, we got to show it. And then me and Garrett head to head, we got to figure out something
Garrett
for this
and I.
game too. I don't know. And the curse is over, but we'll.
Titans lost like
Yeah.
an hour ago, but yeah.
Yeah, Titans lost an hour ago.
Curse is over.
A curse, I think, is still kind of up in the air.
I'm
Which is
out
not
on
where
it,
you want to
though.
be going into Alabama week.
I mean, you're still going to go down the whole, like, I kind of put it on the line. I said we could do whatever, whether it was the shaved head or the shaved mustache. And Garrett can attest, I was freaking out during the Oregon game because Tennessee was playing the same time. Tennessee played a horrible game versus Florida. Nico does not look like the guy right now. He looks like an inexperienced freshman, which he kind of is. But I don't know. It's both Bama and Tennessee look beatable in very similar aspects of their game, and it's gonna be fun. But yeah, someone's gonna go home.
How are you guys going to handle this with your relationship?
I mean, we've
They do it
handled
every
it
year.
for the last 6 years, 7 years, 8 years.
What's the worst it's ever gotten?
I don't think it's really ever gotten bad. Because Alabama up until 2 years ago had beat us 16 years in a row, so I didn't know what winning was. There was never a year that won until 2 years ago, and Garrett was such a gracious loser. He was like, "This, you finally are getting to experience a win." And he didn't do it in like I'm being a dick way. He was just like, "This is cool," and yeah, it happened to be one of the best college football games in the last decade, maybe ever. But I'm hoping that this week shapes out as a fun one.
Feel good about it.
Go
you guys,
Vols.
It's Sunday. You probably be shooting an intro tomorrow with Delanie, correct?
Yeah, probably, because I haven't gotten to consume all the NFL football that I've wanted to today. I've been trying to keep up on the scores and stuff like that because I know people enjoy us breaking down the NFL. So, yeah, I'll probably be shooting another segment with Delanie.
And then I will be in Arizona. Your boy will be doing some personal stuff.
Yeah.
Handling that. We've talked about that for a while. Told the boys before the fall this was going to come up, so I will not be in this next segment with Delanie, and I will also not be in the locker room this week. Still both incredible shows. Wish I could be there. And unfortunately, I will not be in Knoxville this weekend.
So we'll get to this next segment with Delanie where we recap NFL. If you're watching right now, make sure you're commenting, subscribe. See you after this ad read. Big hugs, tiny kisses. All right, we are back. We are talking ball real quick. Hang on, let me lock in with a Lucy. All right, if you're here for the Trump interview, go ahead, check the chapters, whether you're on audio, video with YouTube or Rumble. The boys in the back do a phenomenal job. If you're here for the Trump interview, you can skip ahead. You can find those chapters, jump to it. I got the boy, Delanie Walker, in the building. We're going to be talking NFL ball talk. We're going to recap the weekend because there's a lot of drama going on in the NFL world. Delanie, how many years you played?
14 years, man.
14 years. So we got, 22 years of experience right now breaking this down. 3 total Pro Bowls amongst each other.
Indeed.
With the combination.
Yeah.
Where do you want to start, man? A part of me, since I have you on, you got to intern for the Chargers in the offseason.
Yep.
You had that little scare where Harbaugh goes to the blue tent for the heart arrhythmia. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think that's how you say it.
You think there's anything like going on with Jim? Has he had this before?
I think he had it before. I'm not exactly sure what year he had it, but I know I think he have an irregular heartbeat. situation going on. And when I saw that, you know, that it kind of hit me a little hard because knowing that Jim Harbaugh, that's my guy.
Yeah.
Tough to see him go in the tent, knowing what kind of guy he is. Very tough guy, very emotional guy that wants to be out there on the field, and to see him leave in the first quarter.
Yeah. Did that ever happen when you were on the Niners with him?
No, that never happened with him. You know, I never seen it happen. I never heard him talk about his heart issue or never seen it. So I think this was the first time I've seen him actually have to leave the game for a situation like that, especially being in Denver. Could have been tough with the altitude. So
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And just he's the most football guy I think in the world. So like stress, I'm sure, causes a factor. The dude is all ball 24/7, but hopefully I think he's going to be straight. But yeah, that was wild to see, because they also took, like, you thought it was a pretty heightened situation because they took his brother John off the podium.
Yeah, that's what got me when I seen his brother just take off and leave. I'm like, is it something serious? I started looking to see what was going on with him, just to, you know, to make sure he was okay.
Yeah. But Chargers got a big win against Denver. Denver's 3-game win streak ends. Dude, the Dallas Cowboys seem to be in absolute hell. I want to say this loss against the Lions is the worst loss of the Jerry Jones era. Isn't that right? At home? Like the worst loss at home in the Jerry Jones era. Man, they got a lot of problems. I think they're kind of cuffed right now because they obviously paid Dak.
Yeah.
You got a couple guys on IR with like DeMarcus Lawrence and who is it? Phillips, right?
Phillips.
I forget his first name, but Phillips is on IR. Micah, you know, he's not healthy.
No.
He's not healthy right now. And it just feels like they have a lot of problems, man. Like, part of me feels like Jerry Jones has to give up the reins as being GM. It's a young man's game. I think you got to let somebody else call the shots and try to make a move. Try to make moves going into the offseason, because I feel like they need a lot of pieces, man. I feel like they could be set up. They're in a position where they could be, they could have a lot of problems like in the future. And in Dallas, like Dallas Cowboys, they're always in the mix, but I feel like they've always been helped out due to their schedule and due to like an easier NFC East than years past.
True.
And that's not the situation right now, but it does feel like, hey, Jerry, look, time comes for all of us.
Indeed.
Time comes for all of us.
It's coming for him.
Yeah. It's coming
for
for
him.
him too. Like maybe pass the clipboard to somebody else.
But would you want to be a GM for the Dallas Cowboys knowing that Jerry got to have his hand in every piece of the pie?
That's a good question. That's true, because you know, even if somebody does come in, it'll probably just be like a puppet. It'll probably just be a face of the GM, but they're going to be controlled by Jerry the whole time.
The whole time.
That's a good question. I feel like if you're a Dallas fan, like, you know, the season's pretty much over.
I mean
the Lions look fucking incredible.
Man.
They lost a big piece with Aiden Hutchinson. That was a brutal injury, bro.
Brutal.
Like, it just whipped around and hit old buddy's leg and just snapped, bro.
I know, it was crazy.
If you haven't seen it, be careful watching it. It's a wild injury, and I hate that for Aiden, because he's like a young up and coming player who's building into stardom right now.
Yes.
But I hate that he is down, because did you guys have the same? Because Delanie, you broke your leg in Miami.
Yep.
Kind of shattered it. Is it the same? Is it the same type of injury that Aiden got?
Similar type, but his was a little worse. Honestly, I couldn't even watch it. I still haven't watched it, and every time I see it on my Twitter feed, my X feed, or Instagram, I just scroll right past it because
Bro, it snaps so easily.
You're
like popping a finger or something. He gets thrown and kind of gets whipped around. His leg just hits old buddy's shin and just snaps, bro.
Yeah, so his was worse because I think he snapped it from, what is it, the fibula? What is it?
Fibula?
Yeah, I think he snapped it from here. I dislocated it from my ankle. So he just like a couple of inches up higher where he snapped it in half.
Just shattered it.
Just shattered it.
Hopefully it was just like a clean break and not a lot of debris in there.
Because if it's debris, they got to go and find every piece and then put it together. Because almost like Alex Smith's.
I know I didn't want to bring that one up. But the Alex Smith injury is
I think theirs were similar.
He underwent surgery right away after the game, and the recovery time is 6 to 8 months because they had to put a metal rod in his leg. And I think, like you were saying, that's kind of along the same lines of what Alex Smith had to do.
But hopefully he doesn't have, because I want to say Alex has got
his was compound, so I think it got
right, but it also got infected too.
Yeah, that's what,
because it broke
saying.
through the skin. Yeah,
because Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I could be talking out of my ass again. Dumb football player, but a compound is ultimately what you'd rather have, right?
Compound comes out of the skin.
No, you don't, because that's what they had to make sure
Thank
for
God
me.
I said that. Dumb athlete. I could be talking out of my ass. I was thinking compound's just like a clean break.
I mean, it's certainly a clean break, but compound
it rips through the skin. You don't want a compound because it is literally the bone comes out and you can see the bone. You don't want that. Like when I had mine, that's what they kept saying. We have to make sure it's not a compound fracture because I had tape around it.
Yeah.
So they gave me morphine and then got it open. Yeah.
An interesting take I heard earlier this morning was if you're the Lions, you're in a position where obviously you have an incredible football team top to bottom. Like they can beat you any which way. They have good defense. Do you make a run at somebody out there in the market and do a big trade, say a Max Crosby, and bring him in? Because obviously the situation with the Raiders is they're a sinking ship right now.
Sinking.
You got Max, you got Devontae. Like that whole place is like, you know, there's drama surrounding the Raiders. But knowing how great of a leader, how great of a glue guy, team guy, and elite pass rusher Max Crosby is, do you make a run at moving him and trying to go all in with your chips if you're Detroit and trying to bring somebody like Max over to fill the void of like an Aiden Hutchinson?
I mean, the best scenario, definitely. You definitely go and try to make that trade, but will the Raiders make that trade? With a guy like him, he's the staple. He's the piece to that team. Even though we starting to see him crumble a little bit, which is out of his character, but I understand you frustrated. The season is long. Stuff is not going your way. Y'all, you
think that shove was like a real shove, or you think because Max came out and said y'all are reaching?
I don't know. I really. The coach said, like he said, "What the fuck." I thought the coach was like, "What the fuck."
Yeah, that's a piss off Max who's very frustrated with how things are going because obviously he is the culture of that.
He is the culture. But I mean, if they can make that move and the Raiders want to look to better their future and they look, let's get rid of some of our assets that we have right now. That's an asset you probably move and you get a lot of picks for you know, because he is a dominant player and if he goes to the Lions, oh my God.
Yeah, you could be going after a ring.
You definitely going for a ring. I mean,
what happens with Aiden then?
He comes back and you got two. Now you got two on each side.
I think they already have somebody on the other side.
It ain't Max Crosby.
That's what I'm saying. We're not hating on whoever on that other side, but those two on the same team. Once he get healthy,
you think Aiden would feel some type of way?
No.
He's young. I think Aiden's such like a leader style team guy culture. Like he knows who he is. He knows what he brings to the table.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I think you do a move like that, you know you're all in on winning the Super Bowl this year.
All
because Detroit has the pieces absolutely everywhere. The staff, the players, the roster, offense, defense, everything, bro. They got absolutely everything. What'd you make of the Titans?
Yeah, man. I was there. It's tough.
What happened? Now that we were traveling back during that game, but what happened? Because people were talking about Will Levis, but also like Sherm was watching the game and he felt like there were a couple bad pass interference calls that should have went the Titans' way that didn't get called.
Definitely. I mean, you got the one on D-Hop at the end of the game where, I mean, he clearly hooks his arm, rapes him right before the ball goes, and then no flag. I mean, no flag at all. And I'm sitting there thinking that flag about to come out, but they don't get the flag. Some people can say it was uncatchable because it was kind of high, but at the end of the day, I just felt like we can't leave the game in the ref's hands. And too many times the Titans is trying to leave the game in the ref's hands. Do they need to play better? Of course. Did Will Levis play his worst game? Definitely not. I thought a lot of times, and I'm not, hating on no one on that team or none of the receivers. Sometimes if that ball touches your hands, you need to catch it. I mean, That's what you're getting paid for. Your job is to make the quarterback look good, and sometimes they not making him look good. And the run game was working. We just cannot pass the ball.
He was having a good game.
A good game. and we could not pass
O-line's
the ball.
Getting a little bit better.
Getting better.
Making progress.
I mean, but the Colts, a struggling team too. You have Flacco, Joe come in there, and he made some plays, and we got to him a few times, but he just made more plays than we did, and their defense got more turnovers than we did, and obviously it showed at the end of the game.
Was there one thing that was sticking out more, like from a concept perspective with the Titans? Like, was it a bad decision? Was it turnovers? Was it a lack of defense when you needed it? What was standing out that didn't allow them to come out of there with a win?
Again, like I said, did not make throws we needed to get us down the field, to put us in field goal position at the end of the game. Then that punt, should we have punted or should we have went for it? It was 4th and 7. And I think, Callahan thought the defense was going to get the ball back for us,
right,
and we would have had more time.
Was the defense playing well at this point?
The defense was playing pretty well. They was playing pretty well, but we needed more turnovers. They got that interception at the end of around the end of the game that gave them the ball back, that kind of hurt us. And if we would have got a turnover and put us in a better situation, we probably could have kicked that field goal and went into overtime. That's what I was thinking. But again, I'm not out there. I'm not, you don't know what's going on in their minds, but I just felt like we didn't play our best football at the end of the day.
Jack, you got something? Oh, you taking the spookiness down?
There were also there were 2 PIs in the first half that were crazy to me. And correct me if I'm wrong, if the defensive back is playing the ball and makes contact with the wide receiver, is actively making a play for the ball, he can play through him. Correct?
I think so. As long as you get your eyes back and you're going for the ball. Now, again, I wasn't watching this game, so I don't know exactly what you're referring to. But you're saying the Titans were on defense.
There was a huge interception.
No, we had an interception, but they tried to say that he legally touched them at 10 yards, and then we intercepted it, but they gave them they literally said legal touching, gave them the first down, gave them the ball back. So the Colts got saved twice, pretty much twice. No, I agree. You know what I mean? But again, the refs are sending a letter on Tuesday saying, "Oh, these were bad calls," but it's already too late. Right. The game is over. So we can sit here and argue about those penalties all day. Don't leave it in the ref's hand. That's where I come again. Do not leave it in the ref hands. And you can see the Titans after the game in their interviews, they were frustrated. I mean, frustrated. Oh my God. And that right there, now that gotta get you going. If that ain't starting a fire under you, I don't know what will. You're not, because the talk is, will they even win 6 games this year? That's the talk.
Right. They are behind the 8 ball.
They are behind the 8 ball. Yeah.
Speaking of interceptions, Baker Mayfield throws 3 interceptions, and they still put up over 50 points on the Saints. I feel like the Saints are a team that could be going down. Spencer did look, I mean, it was his rookie debut, but I did see him slinging it a little bit. But the Bucks being able to score over 50 with 3 interceptions is crazy.
It's crazy.
Because the Saints, they pride themselves on defense. Obviously, they have the type of roster that has the leadership, the culture, and everything else. Like, they've had some quality wins this year. Spencer, he was doing really well in preseason. And then again, from the few drives I saw, he was throwing the ball around pretty well.
He was.
But again, like, not a whole lot of like heightened expectation for the rookie QB to start, because that's, statistically, I don't know where the Bucks rank. I know they're kind of like in the middle of the pack. They can stop the run. They've had some new guys in their secondary and everything else. But this is a defense that you kind of knew they were going to come after Spencer, kind of try to confuse him a little bit, show him multiple fronts, show him everything else, and it did. It looked like the Bucks had a hell of a game, even with throwing 3 interceptions.
Yeah, I feel like the Bucks did their job, but Spencer, he only made one crucial mistake, and that was pretty much at the end of the game. Where it was second half, right, where he threw that interception.
Yeah, because they were up 27-24 going into halftime.
Going into halftime.
And with the start, like, they gave them 14 points. Bucks drove down the first drive, scored. Then they have a fumble recovery for a touchdown in the Saints' first series. So you kind of spot them 14 points. You go up 27-24 at halftime. You're thinking, okay, Saints got a little life, like they're coming.
I thought that too. I saw it. I looked up at I'm like, oh wow, the Saints came back. I'm like, oh, young buck out here doing this thing. So I was watching a little bit, but again, like you said, just bringing that pressure on them, mixing things up in the coverage,
Right.
It helps. You know
figuring
what I mean?
figuring out the Saints' rhythm a little bit because again, you're not going to have an entire playbook opened up when
No.
you're a rookie QB starting.
Yep.
But that was one. Then you go over to the Battle of the Beltway, Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens. Even though the Commanders lost, I think there's still a lot of positive to take away from a game like that. Obviously, it was like Washington plus 6.5. They lost by 7. So if you're a gambler out there, that sucks. Your boy, I had him plus 6.5.
I know you did.
But watching a little bit of that game, it's like, you know, you were kind of curious, are they going to be able to run the football against the Baltimore Ravens? They got the best run defense in the league. They shut them down defensively in the run game and made Jaden try to beat you through the air. I thought Jaden, bro, his potential, his ceiling, him tapping into it this young, I feel like he is going to be a great quarterback for a long fucking time, bro. But I feel like there's a lot of positives to take away from that game because Baltimore's they're humming right now.
Yeah, they're humming.
D. Henney, 2 touchdowns.
2
And I'll be the
Ts.
first to say, like, yeah, I felt like he was losing a step. He's getting aged and everything else. But if there is somebody that works their tail off in the offseason, that'll ruin that is like a Derrick Henry. He's somebody that kind of like defies the odds of somebody who's getting older. A big running back, but he's showing that like he's not slowing down, and they're kind of firing on all cylinders right now.
I mean,
Lamar, like if you're watching, they had a beaten down defense. They're not the best statistically on defense, but they're stacking the box, going single high all game. They're hugging. They're green dogging. So for those that are unfamiliar with what a green dog is or hugging, when your coverage blocks, like the Ravens were doing a lot of 2-man routes. When the tight end stays in and blocks, if you're a linebacker and you're man-to-man, the minute you see him block, you're adding on into the rush.
Yep.
So they were trying to get to him and stacking the box, trying to stop the run game. And Lamar, like they were just taking advantage offensively. Guys are getting open.
Yeah.
Lamar's dropping dimes. Like they're firing right now.
And Lamar didn't take shots, but kind of took shots low key. He was like, I can see what all the hype is over there with the Commanders, but he came up short. I was like, yo.
I mean, you kind of got Lamar Jackson 2.0, right?
Yeah,
like
no,
you got a quarterback
definitely.
who can run,
Definitely.
quarterback who could spin it just like Lamar, and that was like an exciting matchup you want to see. Like what quarterback's going to come out on top, especially when it's in a close game like that. And I feel like the Commanders, they have a good football team,
Definitely.
bro. And obviously the Ravens, like they're gonna be contenders. The NFC is looking nice. Like the Packers put an ass beating on the Cardinals.
Oh my God.
Lions put an ass beating on the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Commanders look tough.
Yo, yeah, they still tough.
It's like I was about to say the Eagles, but the Eagles, I mean, you got what the head coach's name? He's Sirianni.
Yeah.
You got Sirianni talking shit to the Eagles fan base, and they
I
just beat
know.
a beaten down Browns team, which has no life.
A clip just came out like 20 minutes ago, and it was a local Philly guy calling a radio show, calling for Sirianni to be fired, which is one hilarious post-win,
So
calling
Philly.
for the firing, and he's wanting Jason Kelsey to take his job as head coach.
Wow.
Hey, that was wild though. Him talking shit, be like, I can't hear you, blah blah blah. He's like taunting the fan base. It's like,
And him
bro,
just
you
shaving
just
his head,
escaped.
too.
Yeah, you just escaped from the Browns, and a heady play by him bringing his son up for the post game
I
presser.
know.
You can't get a little too.
You can't go at him.
Yeah,
After that, you can't
He
go
brought a
at
little
him.
bulletproof vest
Yeah,
with him, but
yeah, he did.
I mean, the Browns, bro, they just seem like, I was hearing Jeff D. Lowe break it down, and it's like I have zero interest in watching the Browns. Like, it's not like they have enough drama to where it kind of feels a soap opera to where you're laughing and everything else. Like, they just suck. They're a boring team. They don't play hard. Like, they're hanging their hat on Deshaun Watson. Like, okay, he had a decent second half. Like, this team is in shambles. And again, I think it's hilarious that Sirianni is just sitting there talking shit, just escaping a Browns.
Yeah.
A Browns.
Chubb's supposed to come back this week.
I think
yeah,
he brings
heard that.
life. I mean, that dude's work ethic is very similar like a Derrick Henry. You see him in the offseason putting like over 600 pounds on his back. Like, everybody talks about how true of a pro he is. And you saw a couple weeks ago when he was just back at individual or back on the field, like everybody's hype around him. I do think he brings a little bit of excitement and juice, but right now their O-line isn't playing that well.
Yeah, at all.
Like last year, years past, you had a good O-line, but they have a couple guys on IR, but you had a quality O-line. You had a quality offensive line coach with Bill Callahan, who's now with the Titans. Like, I just don't think they have the O-line that they've had in the past to where Nick Chubb might do what Nick Chubb does, but I do think he'll bring a little bit of spark. It just kind of depends on how the Browns are gonna, take care of business, how that culture is, how that locker room is right now. And I feel like everything we've seen, you kind of just see like a dying Browns team like we do pretty much every year. Who else? What other headlines we got out there?
Did you see how boring the Sunday night football game was last night?
I watched a little bit, but after all the travel, your boy was just mouth open, fell asleep on the couch.
It was just, it reminded me of like 2020, like COVID Thursday night football games. Just horrible ball.
Yeah.
And the Bengals are just, I don't know what to think of them. Obviously, they got the win, but they barely got by a really bad Giants team. And I don't understand how Daniel Jones still has a job. Still has a job.
What is he, like 1-14 on primetime games?
It was 1-12 on primetime games, now 1-13 on primetime games at home.
Yo.
Well, the positive, if you're the Bengals, is that obviously you got to win. But yeah, to your point, I don't know.
It's against the Giants.
I know. I'm trying to just find some type of optimism, some type of positivity.
I mean, what's the Bengals record right now?
2-4 with wins over who? The Giants and
the Panthers. Oh, come on.
Yeah.
And that was, I believe that was Bryce Young Panthers.
Yeah,
not Andy Dalton.
Not
Panthers.
Andy Dalton. Okay, yeah.
So really, it's like 1.5-4.
Yeah, gosh, it's crazy.
The good thing though is you got 2 games coming up against the Eagles and the Raiders. Where again, the spot that the Eagles are in right now, it's going to be real interesting to see how they do on the back half of their schedule, because last year they really fell apart.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're not firing in a way to where they're able to hang their hat on something right now.
No.
So if you're the Bengals, you got a couple games before you play the Ravens, I think on Thursday Night Football, to get a couple wins and start to make it a little interesting. You'd be sitting there 4-4, playing a divisional game on prime time against a team that's like the Ravens right now. So if you're going to have some type of spark, it's going to be now. It's going to be in the next couple of weeks.
It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be. Have you noticed this trend, though? All these quarterbacks that got paid, look how bad they're playing.
Yeah, but
Burrow's not really playing bad.
Yeah, Burrow's is playing
good. Oh, no, Burrow's
bro.
not playing that
He's
bad.
He's playing great.
He's not playing bad. It's just.
I mean, again, I didn't see the stat line last night. I'm kind of commenting on that on the last week where he had like 5 touchdowns.
Going into last week, he was tied for the NFL in touchdown passes and I think like QBR or completion percentage.
I mean, yeah, he's still got it.
What's crazy is that, I mean, that old line is not doing a great job protecting him. You see the Lions, like one of those cats, I forget his last name, but he had like 2 sacks in one drive. They were getting back to him.
Yeah. I mean, all together, you got to, put these pieces together.
And I mean, Lamar's playing great. He's somebody who got paid.
Well, about 2 years ago, though.
No, wasn't that last year? The whole tag, like that was like 2 off seasons ago.
Yeah.
But I want to say he got paid. But I mean, to your point, you got Daniel Jones, you got Deshaun Watson, you got Dak Prescott,
Trevor Lawrence,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Jacksonville over in London, they are now beaten
badly
by the Bears.
Badly. Oh,
Bears should be excited. Hey, Caleb's playing well. The offense run, they're putting up points. Like, yeah, their schedule has not been tough at all. I think every team that they've beat has like only one win to their name.
Yeah. But still, you get.
Yeah, but still, like the NFL, it's tough to win in this league. Like, no matter what's going on, it is hard to get wins in this league. And for the Bears to put up, I think 30 plus in the last 2 weeks, like, there's excitement to have.
They're starting to get it. They really starting to get it. I mean, keep it up. Let's see what y'all doing. Keep it up.
Yeah. Should we get to these? Okay. Should we get to our spooky question this week, brought to us by the back of the bus, and then we can follow that up with Tier Talk. I'm a big fan of the fall accessories because obviously we're in the middle of Spooktober right now. I hope you're embracing the spook. I hope you're buying our merch, watching something festive every day, getting yourself a nice. Your boy now from 8th and Roast, no free shout outs to 8th and Roast, but an iced pumpkin pie latte. So I hope you're embracing the festivities this season. Yeah, we'll do what?
Stems.
Yeah, you got the stems. We got our boy in the back, Sherm. He's got the taco costume on right now.
Yeah, sure. He was supposed to be, but he got children.
But he got the children's costumes. Yeah, what's our spooky question? Come on, Mitch.
I mean, I got to fix my
Red Ranger.
Our spooky question this week: if you could replace an actor in any role in any movie, who would it be and what movie?
Can we put ourselves in that role?
Oh, you trying to get your name out there?
I'm just saying. I would.
That is the
Oh,
question.
that's the question. Oh, shit.
You trying to be on what? The Green Mile?
God damn, God. Shots fired.
Hey, I actually got a few.
Go forward. Go your first one.
Brad Pitt was very close to playing Jason Bourne over Matt Damon. I want to say he passed on that role. Maybe a hot take. I think Brad Pitt would have crushed a Jason Bourne role.
You think so?
You know, JP, that's fighting words.
Those
for
are
him.
fighting words.
He would be
I was glad he
absolutely
wasn't on the bus.
I love that take because I'm a John Wick over Jason Bourne guy. So anything to trash his credibility, I'm with it. But
Matt Damon obviously crushed it. I'm just saying, Brad Pitt, little bit of humor in there.
I don't think
He
it's a
would've
humor. I
murdered
don't
it.
think it's a humor. I don't think it's a humor role though.
But they never are until they throw some jabs in there.
Jason Statham would be good in that one.
Yeah, Jason Statham over Matt Damon, I don't think that's even
That is
not even a conversation.
Yeah.
that is all of Jason Statham's movies is that stuff.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but I don't think you're throwing him in there over Matt Damon. I could see a Brad Pitt in there over Matt Damon. Another one, this is a spicy fucking take, and this is just a hindsight take. But Gerard Butler over Russell Crowe as Gladiator.
I don't hate that.
I mean, they like the same fucking character.
I know. Yeah. I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you because obviously he had his shine on 300, but I think seeing that movie 300, he would have made. And I watched The Gladiator after 300 for the first time, so I was kind of sitting there when I did watch Gladiator. Russell Crowe did kill it, but I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, Gerard Butler would have murdered this movie.
Of course, but they like the same kind of characters.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm just saying, if Gerard Butler could have played the Gladiator role over the 300 role, I think that would have.
Oh, I'll give you. Yeah.
He would have been perfect.
Is he not
for
in the
Maximus
new Gladiator?
Aurelius?
Is he not in the new Gladiator?
Gerard Butler?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
What role would you put yourself in, Will? What do you think you could play?
What role could I play?
Yeah, because you gave us all these scenarios, but they want to know what role. Who would you switch for you to play that role?
You know, maybe I'm a little high on myself, but I think a Chris Pratt in Jurassic Park. I think
I can see you playing that role because it's
possibly I would have to really dial in my diet, but maybe a Thor, and maybe you know what? Maybe Deadpool. Throw me in there. I love Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, I can give you that. You can do those. I don't know about Thor. He's a goddess.
Yeah. No, Chris Hemsworth. He is Thor. Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool. Another one I want out of there. I want absolutely thrown in the trash and redone as the Flash. I think Ezra, he is abysmal as the Flash. Give me somebody scumbag.
Yeah.
Give me somebody like a Dylan O'Brien from Maze Runner.
Oh, okay.
I can see him knocking that one out of the park.
Wasn't there a different Flash before this guy became Flash? Didn't he?
DC Universe has fucked it all up, and I'm sure that there was somebody before him. But give me, Dylan O'Brien.
Hey, Dylan O'Brien looks fast.
Yeah.
He can play.
Yeah.
He's a good runner.
He can play.
And then also, give me a Charlie Hunnam as Christian Grey in 50 Shades of Grey.
Wow.
Hey, legit.
Yeah, he can play that psycho ass role.
Just a sexual role.
If for me, I'm gonna go Kurt Cobain and Batman versus Joker. I want to be the Joker, bro.
You trying to be the Joker?
Oh yeah.
Kurt Cobain.
Keith Ledger. I mean, I said Kurt Cobain. Keith Ledger.
So you trying R.I.P.
Yeah.
You're trying to take out Heath Ledger and throw in Delanie Walker.
Oh yeah, I would have crushed that role.
Yeah,
fucking crushed it.
Give me something. Give me you know how I got these scars.
Say, let's put a smile on that face.
Yeah. Let's put a smile on that face.
Hey, you know who else? You know who else did a good Joker? Was Diddy.
This motherfucker.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, this dude been sending me Diddy fucking pics. All jacked, man, been sending me Diddy pics
Diddy
like a
Walker,
motherfucker. Hey, see, I mean, I can play that role, not Diddy.
Hey, all right.
Not Diddy, but
Back to the scene. Let's put a smile on that face.
let's put a smile on that face. I can play that role, bro.
Give me your best Joker laugh. Hey, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
I'm telling you, bro.
I'll give you that one.
Hey, I'll crush that if I give me some time. I can watch all the Jokers and put them all in one. I'll crush that.
The
bro.
last where you hang your hat, huh?
Oh yeah,
You knew you had that laugh.
I knew I had to laugh. I knew I had to laugh.
Because you could work on the let's put a smile on that face.
I can work on all of that, yeah, because it's just one-liners with the Joker.
Yeah.
So you just get those one-liners down, you perfect. You know what I'm saying?
And
but
a
you
lot
gotta
of those
have the
facial
laugh.
expressions, the
Yeah.
licking the lips.
The licking the lips, yeah.
Diddy
No,
Walker.
this fool, he been sending me. He sent me with me and my pads, bro. Oh, son.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, yo, you lucky I don't know how to do this shit, Jack. I'll be fucking putting faces on you. Hey, dude, that dude crushed me. He ain't gonna cap. He killed me. The football one, you gotta see the football one. Is fucking crazy, bro. I ain't even gonna cap.
You got it coming up, Sherm?
Yeah, we're getting it dialed.
Hey, I ain't
We
even
need
gonna
these
cap.
references.
Oh, text it to yourself.
Yo, I'm not even gonna cap. That shit had me dying, bro. Bro, I almost spit all my shit out on somebody on the plane when I saw
Yeah,
that.
I mean,
joke.
he showed me the Diddy one over the weekend. I was howling.
With that one, with the suit.
Yeah, with the suit on.
Yo, the fucking football boy. That one right there, bro. Had me. Yo, I'm like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing,
He
son?
was trying to get the
Diddy Walker.
He was trying to get in the shared album for the
Yeah.
the shared album for the Trump podcast, all the photos, and I'm just sending him all these photos. Just
All these photos.
Access it.
And then finally tell me how to act after he does send me
Yeah.
a roll of Diddy fucking cut ups. I'm like, bro.
What do we got? What do we got for tier talk?
We got fall accessories.
Ooh, favorite.
Top fall accessories. All right, let's take a couple minutes. Let's figure out our tier talk for fall accessories, and we'll knock these out. All right, fall accessories. Who wants to kick it off? You want me to go?
Oh yeah.
I'll start with my tier 3, and it's going to be having a hot coffee in hand at all times. Having a hot coffee in hand at all times, accessorizing yourself a little bit. I think everywhere you go, you need to have just that cup in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
My tier 2 is going to be beanies. I love beanie season. I love wearing, growing up, we called them sock caps in Southern Missouri. We called them sock caps. Beanies was like the tight ones. Sock caps had the little, you had a little bit more fluff up top.
Mm-hmm.
My tier 1 is my favorite, and that's going to be flannels. I love when flannel season hits. I think if you're rocking a beanie, you got a flannel and a hot coffee in hand, I think you are ultimate fall. You are in ultimate fall form.
Indeed.
That will that's my tier talk.
My tier talk.
One word.
Fuck you.
Remember, one word to rate it.
Oh,
We'll go
one
around
word.
and get
Oh.
one word to explain my tier talk.
I'm gonna go with November.
Okay.
Hipster.
Cozy.
Warm.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, D, go ahead.
Okay, my tier talk. My tier 3 is going to be oversized hoodies. Love those. Can't go wrong with oversized
Okay,
hoodies.
all right, I
feel
got
me?
you. Yeah.
can
You just
pass-
giving me that look right now.
I'm just letting you know, oversized hoodies. Yeah. It's just- what is that? A smoochie? What you call it? What do you call it? A snuggie. My tier 2, muck boots. Y'all know what those are?
No, I don't know what mug boots are.
Yeah.
Oh, that seems like a Delanie Walker move
Yes,
right there.
sir. With the sweatbands, you be killing them with those.
You got to rock that on the locker room this week.
I'll rock. I was gonna rock one of mine. Once it got a little colder, I was gonna come through on that Kanye vibe. And then what was that? My tier 2?
Yeah.
My tier 1, Ben Davidson jumpsuits, jackets, jackets, pants, anything Ben Davidson. Can't go wrong with those.
Okay. All right.
So that jailhouse.
My word. Respect.
That's what I'm talking about.
Comfy.
Money.
LL Bean.
You guys got any in the back?
Shit, I can get one.
Go ahead, hit one, Jack. I know you're a big fall guy.
Yeah, big fall guy. Tier 3 is going to go to sweatshirts, but more importantly, it's not even the sweatshirt. It is being able to layer a light jacket over a sweatshirt. Let's say you're going to like a 3:30 game in Knoxville this weekend. Come to the Hill, meet and greet. For real, if you're in Knoxville, come meet us at the Hill. But when the weather's right enough to have 2 jackets on, having that light jacket over, you can kind of layer it up, do a little color change up. That's special to me. 2 is going to be, man, this one's hard. But I think it's going to be, you don't take it, your girl does, but when your girl brings a blanket somewhere. Like if you're outside and like your girl's like, I got a blanket for us. And you're like, shit, I wasn't going to bring it out of the house, but if you got it, we're going to be comfy.
Yeah.
And then undeniably my tier 1, I feel like this one's obvious, is going to be beanies. Huge beanie guy. And I'll wear them year round if I could. My roommate literally does. He'll wear them in July, which is absurd. But when you finally get to the weather point where it's a little windy, you get out there, you get the beanie on, you got the hat hair going on, but it doesn't matter. Man, it just feels like part of you never kind of like left bed. You're kind of still just snugged up in there. So love a beanie, but anything comfortable is really, that's kind of my MO.
You're like the default player for white guys with mustaches.
Yeah.
Like when that comes around, it's the best.
I
It's like,
need to
look, Jack
resurface
looks like
that.
everybody. Yeah,
I got to resurface that photo. There's a lot of variants out there for sure.
I'll go first, man. My one word is vibes.
Dialed.
Jack.
Authentic.
Thanks, guys.
Tier 3, vests. Any type of vest. It could be like a poofy vest. It could be a light vest. Just anything that, exactly like Jack was saying with the layers.
Yeah.
I like layers. Boots would be my tier 2. Any type of boot. You're going cowboy boot. You're going kind of more the LL Bean style. You get the Timberlands out. I love boots. Tier 1, long sleeve tees.
Ooh.
I love a good long sleeve tee.
Ooh.
And I'm excited to be living in this part of the country because you can actually do that in fall. Whereas in Texas, can't really sport the long sleeve tee.
That was my one word. It was going to be Texas. So I feel like that's a move. You got the long sleeve tee, you got the vest over top. Usually the cowboy had to go with it, but that is Texas.
I was going to say Nashvilleian. That's a
Nashvilleian. Nashvilleian.
Am
I doing one?
Dude, you can do a word. You don't have to do 2 talk.
On brand hyphen.
Columbia.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
Yeah. It's either Columbia or Vineyard Vines.
Yeah,
I can see
yeah.
that vest right now.
Yeah. All right, boys, we appreciate it. Now we will get to former President Trump, 3-time Republican nominee. We had on Donald Trump. Enjoy this interview. Enjoy this episode. If you've been following along and you're new here with the boys, subscribe. We have The Locker Room, our gambling, NFL, college football show coming out Thursday at 6 a.m. Hit the subscribe button. Leave comments. Big hugs. Tiny kisses. 49ers are up 13-0 right now.
If you're wondering.
Ooh, that sounds okay. Yeah.
I got the under.
Yeah, quarterback is a great story, right?
Yeah.
He's like the last drafted, and they put him in, and he just moved the team. He's really good.
He's handling
You never
business.
know, right?
Never know.
Never know.
Then you take the best player that anyone's ever seen out of college, and he turns out to be not so good. But no, the St. Louis quarterback, the San Francisco quarterback, I found to be very, very interesting. How he's been so good, and he was like just about the last draft pick.
Yeah, I
right?
think he was he Mr. Irrelevant?
Yeah, he was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
He's not irrelevant anymore. He's
Yeah.
Have you, if you'd like to, yeah. We're rolling right now.
These are nice. I haven't seen one of these.
Some high quality mics.
That's pretty cool.
We walked in on the other side. Their production is a little bit different than ours,
that's
we like to keep it tight around here too.
That was, you know who that was, right? Maria.
Yeah.
She's great. Good person too.
Yeah. How, first off, boys, let's give a round of applause to Donald Trump. Taking the time out of his day to come meet with Bussin With The Boys. I want to give a quick shout out to Alex as well, setting this whole thing up. Alex, outstanding work. We were talking about Brock Purdy before.
Yeah.
And Mr. Irrelevant. Are you aware of what they do for Mr. Irrelevant?
No, I know that he was, I think, but not anymore. He's not irrelevant any longer, but he's just a great quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you there's a little luck in sports. And actually, he wouldn't have played except that everybody got hurt in front of him.
Yeah.
And then they put him in and he moved the ball, right? And that was the end of that. That's happened before. It happened with Tom Brady.
Don't they throw a parade?
Yeah, so with Mr. Irrelevant, when you get picked, they put like number 264 out there or whatever. And then after OTAs, which is organized team activities, they fly you out to San Diego and they have a parade for Mr. Irrelevant.
Oh, that's so great.
Yeah. So that's a fun time.
He's done a great job, though.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, he's been outstanding.
Yeah. And they're leading now, right?
Yep. 13-0.
Yeah, as you guys are watching it, it's 13-0 Thursday Night Football. I have the under. It's looking healthy. It's in the second quarter. So
that's great.
Yeah.
So are you on live now in addition to everything else? Because, congratulations. You show, my son is saying, Dad, you got to do those guys. Those guys are great. I have a son who's 6'9".
Oh, for real?
How tall are you?
6'7".
Yeah,
he's got me by a couple.
He's got
I saw the little look too, he's got you.
He's like everybody. I say, how tall are you? I'm just curious.
Mm.
No, he's tall and he's a good boy. He's a good student, very good student.
Mm. Well, we would not be here today without Dana White. We've established a relationship with him. We've met you at UFC a couple of times.
There's nobody like him.
Yeah, he's incredible.
You always say that everybody's replaceable, right? I don't think anybody could do what he does. He's done that. And, built billions of dollars of value just because, but there's nobody like this guy. He's just a fantastic person. And he's so loyal. And I've known him a long time. And he's never changed. He's just an incredible guy. And he really understands that business. But I think he could probably do something else. Although his enthusiasm is he's going to a fight. It's like the first fight he's ever gone to. He's so enthusiastic.
Mm-hmm.
The energy he has is insane.
He's called high quality, right? Mm. There aren't too many around. He's high quality.
No doubt. He's a high functioning individual. And you two have similar traits in the sense that you guys are both willing to stand in the batter's box and stand up for what you believe is right at all times.
Yeah.
So you guys have had a cool relationship. You had UFC was on essentially life support, right?
Yeah.
And you were able to open the gates for him.
They had a hard time. And the Fertittas are great people. They had a hard time at the beginning because nobody would allow it because they thought it was so dangerous. And somehow I met Dana. I don't know. He called me and he wanted. I have a great site. I have a site that was fantastic, actually. And I said, I didn't know much about it, and I said, let's see what it's all about. And I'm telling you, they were the most brutal fights I've ever seen. I said, they may be right. It might be too dangerous.
Yeah.
But they were unbelievable fights. And I stayed right till the end. I thought I'd go in for 15 minutes and watch and just pay my respects. Good luck. Have a good time. Place sold out in 2 seconds. And I ended up doing, numerous with them. I did like 5 or 6 of them. And then they got it going. And then it became just amazing. And then they got, the ESPN deal, which I assume was a great deal. That was a great deal. And but the job he does, but at the beginning I guess they had a hard time getting an arena. Nobody would take it because of the danger factor, and it has to be dangerous. But interestingly, they've never lost anybody in terms of death, and yet in boxing you have quite a bit of it. And I asked Dana, why is that? I guess it's a little bit different in that sense. It's not all to the head, but they've never lost anybody. Nobody died in the UFC. Which is shocking because when you look at some of it, right? When you look at it,
it's way more violent.
You'd say boxing. They have to one a night should, probably will no longer be with us, right? Mm. But it's pretty good. But they really, they make it as safe as they can make it. But it is really something. It's great to watch. And we do the walk on sometimes, where we walk into the arena together. And it's crazy. Those places go crazy.
The place does erupt.
Yeah,
it does. It does go absolutely wild.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now and I know he's a friend of yours, but he's very much into this. He's like a young person. He's so into this world. You're into a world that's much different. I'm into the old world of like television, et cetera, and you get views. I looked at your numbers. Congratulations. That's a great success. You've done a fantastic job.
We do appreciate it.
But you're like a young person, it's like this is young person's television.
Yeah, but you've been doing it for a while. Like you've done podcasting, you've done streaming. You had an incredible episode on Andrew Schultz. Shout out to boy Andrew.
Yeah,
I heard it was good. Tell me about it. It did very well.
Yeah,
I heard it was really.
It's still climbing. It's still climbing.
I think in 12 hours it was right around 1 million.
That's a lot.
He was. I mean. And it just seemed like you enjoyed yourself on that too.
I did. He was very nice. Every one of the guys, they're young guys and they're very different in some cases. And I said, what about these guys? Great athletes. They said professional football players at one point and great athletes, which I like. I respect that. I respect great athletes a lot. There's a reason you're great. It's not only the muscle, right?
Yeah.
We know that. So congratulations.
Thank you. The thing that's so cool about Schultz and these comedians is the level of creativity. You obviously did with Theo Von as well. Have you been able? Do you know about Shane Gillis?
No.
So Shane Gillis, he's probably I don't know, boys, probably the biggest comedian in the world right now.
Yeah, he's up there.
And he does Donald Trump impersonation.
Oh.
And he's pretty fantastic at it.
Well,
does a great job.
I've heard great. No, I've heard great. I have heard great.
Why do you go the podcasting route? I feel like it's something you've leaned into again. You've been all with pods and streamers.
So it started off, and it may be a little bit to do with all of my sons. They're young, and two are less young, but I have one that's very young. And this is a young world. You're in a young world, right? And I've done a few of them, and they've done well. I did one with Elon. Elon and I did one. They call it, I don't know, they have some special names, but I did I did a one-on-one with Elon Musk, right?
It was on X, right?
It was on X, and it was unbelievable, actually. I think he had 750 million people with billions of hits. It was just I don't know if it could be done again. But we did it. It was just him and I talking. We went for about 2.5 hours, and it got world record stuff. I did one with Tucker. We did fantastically. We did one, I think that night he had 281 million. We did it the night of a debate. We had a debate, Republican Party debate, and I didn't want to do it. I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm leading these guys by 70 points and 60 points. Why should I debate? Mm-hmm. I'm not a stupid person. Why would I debate, 6 or 7 guys that aren't stupid? They're professional politicians for the most part. And why would I stand there and do that if I have a 70-point lead? And so I did something with Tucker that same night, went against the debate, and he had almost 300 million people. Tucker Carlson,
wow,
good guy. And but this is a new world. It's changing,
Yeah,
it changes very fast.
It seems like the world of like mainstream media is like slowly kind of going away. There's so many different ways to access your information, whether it be TikTok or Instagram, and now it seems like more than ever X. Elon Musk is such a unique relationship that you guys have to me, because I think in 2020 he voted for Biden, and now he's really done the 180. And you see a lot of these kind of bigger name celebrities doing a 180 and kind of being more supportive on your end. What is your guys' relationship?
We have great support. That's great. I mean, he feels that this is the most important election ever. He thinks the other side is bad people. Probably feels in many ways they're not competent, but he also feels that, it's for democracy, et cetera, and feels very strong. I mean, I'm not sure. I've heard, and he said, I've heard him before I knew him, that he said he voted for Biden. I'm not sure that that's so, I just find it hard to believe it.
Yeah.
But he's an incredible guy. He's a brilliant guy. We had something the other night in Butler, Pennsylvania. You probably heard about it. We had 101,000 people show up, and Elon was there, and he got up and he gave a great speech. And he's got a lot of things going. He's got rockets. He's got cars. He's got the whole thing. He's got everything. He's got Starlink, which was very helpful. In North Carolina, Biden and Kamala, if you can believe Kamala. How about the thing with CBS? Okay, tell me. You heard about CBS where they changed her answer and everything. Did you hear about
The-
that?
Is this where she's sitting outside the
Yeah,
plane?
it's the biggest scandal in broadcast. I've never heard. She did a very bad interview with them.
Mm-hmm.
It was taped and going live, but it was essentially taped. Like if you tape a show and you put it on that night or the next day. And she gave some really stupid answers. And what they did is they cut those answers out and they put other answers in. And I think it's really, I think it's a very bad act, probably a criminal act, but it's certainly election interference and license threatening. You know, they have licenses. And I just think it's one of the worst things I've heard. Think of it. She's on things. It's a news organization, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think 60 Minutes is under the news umbrella. And they do an interview and she gives a bad answer and they take it out entirely. It's not like they did a little. I mean, they took the whole thing out and they put another answer from another question in there, which didn't make sense either. I mean, that was a lousy answer also. But nobody's ever heard of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think there's like the positives of you doing more long form stuff. People get to see you in a different light compared to how everybody clips up, tries to get the clickbait, tries to get the headlining stuff in the mainstream media.
I like doing stuff like this. You know, I like it. I like conversation. I don't seem to get myself in much trouble. When she does it, every time she does it, they say she's stupid. She's stupid. I mean, they tried to get away with her not doing it, which is always a bad sign, frankly. And, well, they did it with Biden. They kept him in a basement, but they were able to do that because of COVID. You know, they could say, oh, he wanted to protect. And then when I debated him, we had a debate that, did you watch the debate with Biden?
We did.
Did you think he did well?
No, I would say the most of the world would agree he did not do well.
Yeah. So anyway, they forced him out. It was like a coup.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is like Dana would have a fighter and the fighter's getting, doing badly. And they say, let's take him out and put a new one in. This never happened before. So they got him out and they put this one in. And she was number 13 online because she failed already. She had, she tried to get the nomination and she failed. There were 22 people and she came in last. She never made it to Iowa. And now all of a sudden, this can only happen to me, fellas. I have won. I spent $150 million to beat him. And I was leading by a lot. And then they take him out and they give me another one. That's never happened before. It's like a palace coup. And he doesn't like her. He hates her. I think he hates her as much as he hates her. Yeah. I think Biden hates me. He hates me a lot, but I think he hates her maybe as much or more than he hates me. Is that possible? I don't know. Hard to believe, right? He can't stand her.
Why are they just able to slide in a different candidate? Like usually they're...
Well, I don't know. They were politically correct. They wanted to do it that way. They were afraid not to do it that way. They were catering to maybe something other than competence, and maybe they just wanted to do it. They wanted to be politically correct, and they did it. And then they said should have a 6-week honeymoon period, and that's what turned out. I mean, they had a little bit of a honeymoon period, and now she's falling badly because she's been doing interviews. She's falling because she's doing interviews, and the interviews have not been good. They have not been good. So we'll see what happens. But we're leading in all of the swing states right now. We're leading pretty good in all of the swing states. And we'll see. I think it's going to be a very successful campaign, I hope.
Do you ever get, like now that it's getting closer, like do you ever get nervous for when the day does come and all the votes start piling in?
The pregame jitters.
Yeah, like you
you've
played all the work out there. Yeah,
for the last 5 minutes, and it's like we're playing music in the corner. We're a little nervous
You've
ourselves.
done all your preparation, you've game planned, you've done the campaigning, and then you start to get there, and the national anthem's going. You start to get a little jitters.
In some ways, you don't want to think of it, right?
Yeah,
you just don't. I don't want to really even think about it. I just do. I go from day to day. I do what I have to do. I work hard. I'm a hard worker, always been. So I've gone like 36 days in a row with no rest. And I have, 23, 24 days left, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't intend to take like a day off or 2 days off. You're running for the president. This is like you're running for the Super Bowl times 10, right? And you're sort of all by yourself, but you have some good people. You have some very professional people sitting over there. And I just feel, a lot of people say, oh, sir, you should take a couple of days off. I can't take days off. I want to be in Wisconsin or I want to be in Michigan. Today I was in Michigan. I did the Economic Club of Detroit Economic Club. And it was great. Had to bring back the automobile business, which has been stolen from the country. We can do it. We're going to do it easily. We're going to have a lot of automobile business factories open and plants. We're going to open up a lot of them. So I don't know. I find it very interesting, but it's an all-out run. You would say it's an all-out sprint. And it is. It's an all-out sprint. We're sprinting to the finish line. And we're almost there. But we did great. In 2020, we did great. And it was a bad thing. Look, we had the COVID all over the place. And even officials were afraid to come. They didn't want to catch COVID. You know, the whole thing was crazy. But I think this time, I think we're actually doing better than we did in 2020.
Something we like to ask like coaches and players when they get like a second opportunity in their career, in their profession. What do you feel like you've learned? How do you feel like you've grown from your first term? And also, what are some things that you look back on? Maybe there's situations to where you think I could have done a better job with that.
I think the biggest thing is I got to know a lot of people. You know, so I was elected. If you look at presidents over the United States, over the history of our country, 92% have been politicians and 8% have been generals. So I was told, well, you got to be a general, you got to be a politician. You know, it makes sense, I guess. But I said, but I'm not a general, I'm not a politician. So I won. And I went to number one, you know, when I announced, because I was very well known as a business guy. People knew me. I've done a great job in business. Did a lot of great jobs, a lot of great deals, made a lot of money. But I was known as a business guy. And I was known for The Apprentice. You know, I did a show called The Apprentice, which was a very successful show. And I had a lot of bestsellers, some real big number one bestsellers, The Art of the Deal and others. So I was known, but I went, and as soon as I ran, I went to number one in the Republican thing and did that and won. And then I went against a woman known as Crooked Hillary. And she is one crooked son. But, and, you know, she was a professional, married to a president, popular president, a good president. And then, you know, I ran, and the COVID made things tougher because it was, you know, much tougher. But I did phenomenally. Otherwise, I wouldn't have run this time. So I've won 3 Republican nominations in a row. And now we have this final thing. And I think if it happens, it'll be the biggest victory in the history of the country. You know, I mean, it's a big thing because I think the country has to have it. We've gone through 4 years of hardship. And you know, they were asking me, fellas, what's the biggest problem? I really, you know, they say inflation and they say the economy and all that. I really think that in terms of the voters, inflation's a very big deal. But in terms of the voters, I think the biggest thing is the border. In terms of the election, I think it's the most important thing. I think women don't want to have migrant killers running around their backyard. You know, it's pretty simple to me.
Yeah, people obviously want to feel safe in their backyards. You mentioned all the amount of success you've had, whether in real estate, your best-selling books, The Apprentice, the show that was top of the charts for a very long time. What was, and then there was an interview you did with Oprah, I believe it was like whether it was 89 or 90. She asked you like, would you ever run for president? And you said essentially, no, I wouldn't, because it's a mean and nasty world, and I would only do that if it was in extreme circumstances. You know, obviously you end up running. You've won 3 Republican nominees. What was the straw that broke the camel's back for you to be like, I've really got to put my name in the hat for America?
2 things: trade. Because as a businessman, I think I'm a very natural businessman. Like you guys are natural athletes. You're always the best at your sport, and you did well. I mean, in high school, you guys were dominant, right? And even in college, you were dominant. There was nobody.
You could say that.
No, you take a player at your level. In high school, you're on a different level. You know, you're just much better. You're much, much better, okay? You could run right through that line. Guys wouldn't even, right?
All state.
I mean, I understand. I know how it works. And then it gets tougher and tougher as you go up, right? Then all of a sudden they get bigger and faster. And you say, this is
the ultimate equalizer.
You said, let me go back to high school. But no, you were always dominant in what you did. And I was a good businessman, and I'm an athlete too. I was always good at sports. I was always really good golfer, good baseball player, good everything. I love sports. I always love sports. And it's sort of a microcosm of life, okay? It's, the great athletes have something very special. And it's true like that in life, you have people, some people win, some people don't win. It's very interesting. But I always looked at sports as a microcosm. And the nice part, it's fast. You win or you lose.
Right.
With other things like what I do, it takes years to determine is somebody a winner or not. And it takes a long time. With sports, you win the game or you don't. And it's very interesting. But I really have always equated it very much with life, what you do as an athlete, very much. And maybe it's why your show's successful, actually. People see it. And then you have people that like watching athletes on television, because I do. I do.
No doubt about it.
On Andrew Schultz's podcast, you guys were talking about the art of the weave, weaving in and out of questions and conversations. What was the straw that broke the camel's back that got you in the game for politics?
Okay, so
you were talking about trade.
Two things. I think trade, and I think the border. The border was real bad, but nothing like this. The border was, by the way, like 10% of this, and nothing like this. There's never been a border. In history, in the history of our country, there's never been a border like this. And trade, because I saw China and I saw other countries just ripping us off so badly. We have these massive deficits. We're not going to have them that long because I'm going to turn it around. We're going to turn it around. They've taken advantage of us, and oftentimes it's our friends that took the biggest advantage, which is true in life too. But I would say those two things. I would look at the trade and I'd see these deals that were so bad. And it actually started a long time ago with Japan. Japan, before you guys were born, Japan was brutal to us in trade. And then they had a little explosion and they went away. They had a they had a real problem economically, and all of a sudden they were gone. And then other countries came in, but China came in a big way, and to this day. And I had them pay billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs. They call them tariffs. And we did a good job. We had the greatest economy in history. We had the greatest we had the greatest job numbers in history. We had the most jobs. And whether you were a high school student that didn't graduate, no diploma, or you went to MIT, Harvard, the Wharton School of Finance, Stanford, no matter what school you went to, and no matter what degree you did well, including if you didn't have a degree, if you were a woman, if you were a man, if you were black or Asian or Hispanic, every single group was doing better than they had ever done. Mm-hmm. And so I think we're going to do it again. But I think, again, as I say, I really believe it's going to be the most important election in the history of the country. This will be the most important election because we're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in decline. It's a very serious decline, and it's got to be fixed. And if it's not fixed, we're not going to have this country any longer.
You talked about your love for sports, your love for athletes, and obviously you pride yourself on your golf game. What other sports growing up were you heavily invested into?
So I was a very good baseball player, actually, in high school.
What position were you playing?
First base, and sometimes catcher, but basically first base. Mm-hmm. So first base. It's good fielder, good hitter. And don't forget, it wasn't like your stuff, it was high school, but we played very good teams. We had a lot of very good players. And we did well. I was, it's very interesting. Anything with a ball, and it's hand-eye, right? If you told me gymnastics, we had a class I was the worst. I was the worst. It's funny, I had friends that were great, and yet if you threw a ball, it would hit them in the face. You'd say, here. They couldn't catch a ball, but they could do circles. No, it's the craziest thing. Do you understand?
Isn't it wild how some athletes are so great at one thing, but you tell them to do something different, and it just...
Well, I see it even in golf. I'll play with somebody that's a star athlete, like great. Even some of them with the ball, eye, hand type coordination. and they won't be good golfers at all, and they never will be.
That's
They'll
us.
Never be.
Yeah.
We're kind of like
I'll tell you, you see my
unfortunately.
practice swing though, you're like, man, this guy can maybe really hit it.
You got something to work with.
And that thing
You
is,
mean
see
You
ya.
have a good practice
I know.
swing.
And every golfer I ever golf with is always like, listen, man, you get better clubs, you get longer clubs, you'll
Get
be
you a
just
coach.
fine. And it's
Get you
like,
a coach.
no, it's not.
You can't go more than an inch.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If you go more than an inch, you're very tall, but if you go more than an inch, it's too tough to control. Believe it or not, you can go an inch, but you don't want to go much more than that. It's interesting. But do you hit a long ball?
If I hit it right, yeah. But usually it's just like, that's a
Who's the
ground ball.
longer-
You be at first base,
Who's the
taking me out,
longer
no
hitter?
problem.
Who's the longer hitter?
I don't think we play enough to
I
know,
guess
but
it would be
I
you,
think I
though.
would give it to myself.
Yeah.
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 Pretty
Probably
good.
hit it 230.
If
Strong 230.
Will can have golf, I'll take every other sport.
Yeah. It's funny though, but I meet people that are unbelievable athletes, but they can't play golf. I meet baseball players that can hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but they can't hit a golf ball that's sitting on the grass all teed up and ready to go.
Yeah.
It's
Just
funny
waiting
thing.
for him. Yeah.
Being an avid sports fan, you made a run at the Bills in 2014.
I did.
How close were you
No,
to
not
owning
close.
the
The
team?
owner who got it is a very good man. I think he's done a great job. Well, he made a great pick. He picked a great quarterback, right,
Yeah.
Josh? But no, I bid $1 billion, and I put up a letter of credit, and I thought I might get it because it was in Buffalo, which was having some troubles in terms of a place, and he bid $1.4 billion or $1.450 billion. So it was $400 million more. It wasn't. I don't think it was a very serious room, but I gave him I gave him a guarantee of $1 billion. So that's always serious.
That
right?
sounds quite serious to me.
And he paid $1.4 billion, and he was in the oil business. And he's got a daughter who's a great tennis player. It's very unusual that happens. He owns a team, but his daughter's a top 3 or 4 or 5 tennis player. She went to the finals of the last major, whatever that major was. I watched so many majors, but. And he's a very nice guy. I think he's terrific. I think he's done a great job with that team. He drafted a quarterback who was going to be the number 1 draft pick. And then he said things on the internet that weren't good. You understand that?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, and they passed him. I don't know what he got drafted, maybe number 8 or 9 or something.
Well, yeah, I think he might have been 8, 9, or 10.
What do you think? Do you have a fact checker over there? What was?
No, we don't deal with fact
What was
checkers.
Josh?
We kind of just say
Josh
on this
Allen.
podcast, we just say.
Was he number 8 or 9 or something like that? And he was 7. So there are 6 teams that are saying, they fire their scouting system, right? But he's a great. Do you rate him as a great quarterback?
Oh,
Oh,
he's
yeah.
very good.
He's
yeah.
And he's not
fantastic.
only great; he's an exciting quarterback too. But he's a great one. And so he was going to be number 1, and then they found things that they didn't like, and people passed on him for that. And then so number 7 was the Bills. It was pretty sure it's number 7, right? And number 7 was the Bills, and he picked him, and he took him around on an apology tour for a day, and he ends up with one of the best quarterbacks, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
The funny thing is you never know how a quarterback's going to turn out, though, because you see people that have a 0 chance of failure and they don't do well, and then you see, like as we're talking about with San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Was he very good in college? Was he a
Brock
great?
Purdy?
Brock Purdy?
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, he was
State,
good. He was
solid.
Good, but
Iowa
not,
State. Yeah, I think he just had. It was kind of like a Tom Brady situation where there was a lot of guys that people thought were better than him, and he just like didn't have the arm or didn't have the speed or didn't have
Right,
the
the
accuracy. It's
tangible
always.
stuff.
I think when you get into the sport of the NFL and the scouts, they tend to nitpick way too much and they'll talk themselves in or out of anything. That's when you see like influence from the draft as it goes. Like some guys maybe a top 15 pick, and all of a sudden 2 weeks before, it's like, this guy might go 1 overall, and he ends up going 1 overall. So you just see people talking themselves in and out of things, but obviously the kid's got incredible talent.
Mm-hmm.
the all-time great of that was the great Lou Gehrig, right? Was it Wally Pip? Wally Pip?
Yep. Came out
Wally
for just
Pip?
a little bit.
Wally Pip, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Wally Pip, it's a long time ago. It's a long time since I've told this story, but Wally Pip was a very good first baseman. He batted like 280, great fielder. And one day he wasn't feeling well. He said, "Coach, I just don't feel well. I'm not feeling well. I won't be able to make it today, Coach." And the coach looks over at the bench, takes an 18-year-old kid who actually came out of college. He went to Columbia, takes an 18-year-old kid who's sitting there, and he said, "Lou, take over first base. And, okay, coach. He goes out and he got like, first game, 2 home runs, a single and a double or something. The next game, he'd rip the hell out of it for 3 or 4 games.
Played out of his mind.
He had like 5 or 6 home runs. The coach said, well, I've never seen anything like this. Anyway, Wally gets better. He said, Coach, I'm ready.
Job wasn't there.
He looked at him, he said, I'm sorry, Wally. You know what Wally said? I thought you'd say that.
Really?
He understood. Yeah, I mean, it was Lou Gehrig. But who knew, right? But it was Lou Gehrig. He was just a young guy out of college. I don't think he played in the minor leagues. He came out of college. It was a little different. It was a long time ago. But I always say to people that, give up their position for a day or two to somebody else because they have to be at a wedding or they have to be somewhere, I say, remember the story of Wally Pip. Because
even injury too, it's like a saying is your best ability is availability, because you could be injured and then the next time you come back, the guy behind you, Levante David, takes over in Nebraska.
Now the ultimate example of that was, didn't he play like 2,900? He played the most games ever or something, and he was, and then he got sick, very sick.
You talk about guys, obviously, stepping out of the game for a moment and their job being taken. You're talking about this long stretch, the sprint you have to the election. How are you finding time to rest when you can? Because it seems like, talking to Dana, he tells me about your schedule, how you're, 3 a.m. you're here and then you're going over here. You're jumping all over the place. Where do you find time to rest?
I really don't find too much time to rest. Look, the way I look at it is that, and you have 2 opinions on this. Some people she rests, Kamala rests. In fact, she's almost resting all the time. She does very little. She takes, days off, and I'm not knocking that. That's another, I guess.
You got to get your 8 hours. I'm an 8 hours guy myself.
Really? I'm not 8 hours.
I get moody.
I'm less than 8 hours, but you can't, you got, what do we have, 23 days? But I've been going for like a lot. I don't know what it is, but 30-something days. And I don't intend, I was telling the guys, I said, you guys all ready? Because this is a sprint. And it's amazing because you start off at 4 years and then you have to run and you have to go through primaries and stuff and you have to get that. And it's a big deal. I've gotten 3 in a row, right? That's never been done before. 3 primaries in a row, it's never been done before by anybody but FDR, right? I guess. FDR did the 4-time thing, but that was before they had the cap.
I get my information off Instagram, but they were saying it takes like $98,000 a year just to live a middle class lifestyle.
Do you like Instagram?
I do. I enjoy it. Yeah. I like to scroll, click a couple hearts, put some likes out there and stuff like that. It'll just consume you though. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, I'm the next guy.
Yeah,
I had when I first, so I was president and I got to be president. I had a lot. I started with Twitter, and then I sort of liked it. I didn't even do it. I sort of dictated it, Then I said to the guy, how do you do this? And he showed me, and I sort of liked it. I liked the little whole thing, and I got sort of good at it. And I put it out, and all of a sudden I had like 190 million people. And then on Facebook I did even better. And then I was on Instagram too, and and I had hundreds of millions of people. And Mark Zuckerberg came to the White House, who I like much better now. I actually believe he's staying out of the election, which is nice. But he called me up after I was shot, and he said that was so brave, which was nice. I didn't feel it was brave. I felt like I just wanted to get off the ground. I didn't like it. I knew I was shot in the ear. A lot of the Secret Service didn't think so. They thought I was shot all over because there was blood all over the place. The ear bleeds more. Did you ever get a cut in the ear? Because
it won't stop.
It doesn't stop. Yeah. And I will tell you from personal experience. And I have respect for Elon a lot, because Elon, and by the way, he's another one that respects Dana White a lot. He respects him a lot. But Elon is a different kind of a guy. What he did is he bought something that was run by the radical left lunatics, and he opened it up. He made it for people not necessarily conservative. He opened it up. He made it fair. Because I'll tell you, it wasn't fair. When we were there, they didn't even want a conservative voice on. I don't know if you guys, how you feel about that. I don't know your politics too well. I know your sports better than your
feel
politics.
having the ability to speak how you want is important.
Yeah. It's free, And he did that, and it's what he did is a great. I don't know how it works out financially for him, but he's rich and he can do what he wants to do. But he opened it up, and that's such an important thing that he did. You got to hand it to him. He's really he's like this incredible guy. He said today that he's actually campaigning for me in Pennsylvania.
We interrupt this episode to bring you our Spooktober merch. The boys, we celebrate the 31 days of fright that kicks off all of the holiday season. The rules are simple. You refer to October as Spooktober. You embrace the spook every week by enjoying lattes, enjoying the festivities that October Spooktober brings. You hit something on the weekends, whether it's a pumpkin patch, a haunted house, whatever the case may be. We're here to shout out our Spooktober merch. We have Spooky Season available. Delanie Walker, he'll show you the back of these tees. We have them in a couple different colorways. All you got to do is head to store.barstoolsports.com, click on the brand Bussin With The Boys. You will find our Spooktober merch there. We have, again, these graphic tees, and then we simply have our Spooktober tees that come in different colorways. You can show both of them, Delanie. But again, store.barstoolsports.com. Click on the Bussin With The Boys brand. You will find all the merch there. Embrace the spook with the boys. Enjoy the 31 days of fright and get excited for Halloween and the rest of the holidays that are to follow. Back to the episode. Make America Great Again. Would you say that involves the Nebraska Cornhuskers winning a national title?
Well, how are they doing so far?
Right now, we are sitting with a good record of 5-1. We're on a bye week right now. We're getting well rested. We got Indiana next week. I think we can take care of business there.
Good ball club, Indiana, though. That's a good ball club.
I love Nebraska. Great people. I won the state by, I don't know, like 20 points, a lot. You had a great football coach for many years who was a silent person, very unusual, right? You know who I'm talking about?
Is that Tom Osborne?
Yep.
Yeah. So Tom Osborne was a great coach, and he was a silent coach. Is he still living?
Yeah.
Boy, I'll tell you, that guy was a good coach for years, and not a rah-rah coach at all, just a total professional coach. I wonder what he was like in real life because, it seems so unusual, right?
Yeah.
But they would just be brutal, and they had and then all of a sudden they went back, when he wasn't there, they didn't do so well. But now they've gotten better.
We had a decent run from 08 to 2013, 14.
Well, it's always going to be decent, right?
Yeah.
But because it's sort of a natural.
This is the year.
Football.
They get the monkey off their back of finally getting to a bowl game possibly right now.
Where did you guys play in college?
2008 to 2013.
I was
at
Nebraska, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
I was 09 to 13 at Michigan.
Wow.
But I was at Michigan in the dark days.
What position did you play?
Left tackle, offensive line.
Wow, that's good. So how much heavier were you then?
I'm about 255 now. I was 310 then.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, that's
takes a lot to let this
you wanted to
average.
live?
What's that?
You decided you wanted to live, right?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know when you weigh that much, you don't realize how much you feel it in your knees and your back and everything like that, and then the weight starts to come off, and you're like, I had no idea.
You don't see that often, because I know a lot of linemen, I know a lot of players, I know of those. What position did you play?
Linebacker.
That's good. I bet he was good, right?
He was solid. Yeah. I mean, like classic white linebacker, gritty, hardworking.
So you would say that Lawrence was the best?
Yeah, especially rushing the passer. On the inside, probably Ray Lewis, Luke Kuechly.
Yeah, Ray Lewis was good.
Yeah. Well, how do you feel about the new
Green Bay had some great ones, right?
How do you feel about the new kickoff rule?
I think it's terrible.
Yeah?
I think it's terrible. What are they doing? Now, college hasn't done that, right?
No, college is still the same.
And do you think they will do it?
I hope not. To me, there's something about.
I think they'll adapt and follow the NFL.
You think they'll do it?
I think so.
They don't do 2 feet. They don't do 2 feet on a catch. They have like different sets of rules. They have different overtime rules. They've had that for a long time.
Right. I think the 1 foot is a good idea.
I like the 1 foot. Better
because
stats.
You know what? It's too complicated. The 2 feet. I mean, if you didn't have slow motion replay where you see everything perfectly. I mean, it's amazing. In the old days, they didn't have that. Guys they had 2 feet out and they were calling. It's sort of great to be able to do that. But 1 foot is so much, it's so much simpler. Unless you have cameras, in which case it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I like the 1 foot much better. What do they have? 1 foot in college, right?
Yeah, 1 foot in college, 2 in NFL. The thing that I love about like the old kickoff rule is like if you think about every Super Bowl, the slow-mo of them kicking the ball off, all the cameras going off and all the players running downfield. Like that, I feel like that's such an iconic move for the NFL. And
so
now
let me
that's
ask
dead.
You, do you, so I've been sort of busy. I haven't been able to watch too much football in all fairness. And if I did, I'd be, it would be a dereliction of duty. Do you understand? I'm supposed to be running. I can't watch too much football. But I just saw it the other day and I was amazed by it. To me, it's ugly. It's actually ugly. It's not football. Do you like it or do you like it?
No. Well,
I like it for the players because ultimately they're not doing a whole lot. But for entertainment and the old school style of football.
They're saying it's dangerous because the hitting is pretty fierce when you're running that far, right? You're running into
Right. So they're basically lining guys up 5 yards apart.
Yeah, but somehow it's supposed to be football. And I played football too. I didn't particularly like it.
What position were you?
No, I didn't like it. I played tight end.
Yeah. Can block.
And I
can
didn't
catch
like,
the whole thing.
You had some hands?
We got Delanie Walker
I
behind.
could catch the ball good, but I didn't particularly like having some guy that was lifting weights all day long and came from a bad neighborhood.
Yeah.
And he sees me and they were tackling hard, and I had a quarterback with that much of an arm, throw the ball. It wasn't like, but this wasn't high quality football, but I didn't like it too much. I love baseball.
You talk about your childhood. This is the shirt I'm wearing right now. This is Spooktober. And it's like, for us, it's like the kickoff to the holiday season, Halloween, October, all that. In the Trump household as a kid, was your family big on holidays?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I was. My father loved, my mother loved. They had a great marriage. They were married for many years. Mm-hmm. That's where he beat me. He beat me on that. Yeah. He said, "Pop, I'm not going to catch you."
He beat me on that.
I'm not going to catch you. No,
you're not going to win them all.
Yeah. Great marriage, great wife, great husband. But no, it's so funny. I see my guys going crazy over here. So I said to them, listen, I've been doing this stuff since 6:30 in the morning, so we'll do this one quick. I thought I'd be with you guys for maybe we'll do it for 4 or 5 minutes. And I found this this is great.
Live
this is what they call long form, right?
Yes, absolutely.
It's cool. It's better than boom, 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 and you go. But no, I thought, right, fellas? I thought I'd be here for just a short while. These guys are great. I could do it for hours. I could do it for hours with them. It's now a lot of people you meet, even for interviews, and you wouldn't feel this way. You want to sort of get out of there, right? Mm-hmm. And I wasn't in the mood to do this. I just left the Economic Club of Detroit. I made a 2-hour speech. Then I left Maria Bartiromo. She gave me a 1 hour at least interview. And then I said, okay, is that it for the day? No, you're going to meet a couple of young, handsome athletes. They said, one of them is 6'7", and the other one's just a pure good athlete. I said,
just a pure good athlete.
I said,
the other one?
Let me ask you. I said, let me ask you, is there a way we want to do it tomorrow or something? Yeah. Anyway, no, this was, we had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with you guys.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it.
Yeah,
if I could ask one more question.
And I will do one more as well, and then we'll.
Good. Because the country feels very divided right now.
Yeah.
I know people are going to watch this episode. There's going to be a lot of people that love it. I know even personally, I'm going to have people that are going to be disappointed in it, which is unfortunate.
This episode?
Yeah, I think majority will love this episode.
I think so. Vast majority. Mm-hmm. They're going to say he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Everyone says it. When I do these things, they say, he's so different than I thought. Mm. He's such a nice guy. I'm actually not a nice guy, but no, I think I am a nice guy, actually. But no, I think they'll think, it'll be interesting. I'll tell you one thing. You know what you're going to do? You're going to get the highest ratings you've ever had. And I don't know why. I have no idea why, but that'll happen. I did Gutfeld. He's great. He's a great guy. And he got his highest ratings in the history of his show. And he had the #1 show of the week. You're going to get high ratings. And I don't know why. But you'll let me know what your ratings are, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do you
we'll
have
be
a
hitting
thing?
out
Is
for
yours
sure.
called ratings or is it called hits? Or
like
Yeah, rate
views,
numbers,
sort of the
downloads.
same thing.
Yeah,
It's whatever. It's like how many people are watching, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We interrupt this episode to bring you The Locker Room, our newest show this football season. If you're into the boys and you're into football talk, this is the show for you. We do all of our sports gambling, all of our sports talk to preview the weekend. Our first half of the episode is going to be NFL. Our back half of the episode is going to be college football. Here's a little spicy trailer to get you excited. They're favored by 6.5 at home. The over-under is 49.5. I know they're both slow-rolling offenses, but I'm telling you, I love the over this week.
Can I tell you something? You sound fucking stupid.
Again, that comes out this Thursday at 6 a.m., every Thursday at 6 a.m. with myself, Delanie Walker, and Taylor Lewan, where we break down ball, we talk bets, we talk everything in between. But again, The Locker Room every Thursday at 6 a.m. Back to the episode. But knowing that this division, it feels where it's at, the temperature in America, like if you're elected in November, like how will you look to unite everybody through your communication, your behavior?
It's a great question. That's a great question. So you want to see the country united, but we have like two very different, you have a very conservative side and a conservative side. And then you have people that want to see an open border and things. I mean, a lot of it's so far out. Like, for instance, they want men playing in women's sports. I don't think I could ever say I'm thrilled about that, okay? I've seen it. I've seen people really hurt. In the Olympics, you had two boxers that transitioned to women, and in the women's boxing, they both won gold medals. And you saw the young Italian girl got hit a couple of times. She said, I'm bye-bye.
She should have stayed in the ring.
No, the whole thing, huh?
She should have stayed in the ring.
Well, it was sort of weird, right?
But you fight your entire life for that moment. You know going into it, you're probably going to face this
It was
person.
a weird thing. I mean, she got hit very hard, and only with lefts. Boom. And she then walked back to the corner. She said, I just got hit by a horse. I can't take it. And then she walked back. You're right about a little bit right, but she's fighting a man. She is fighting a man.
You know, like if you train, like all you think about, like there is no tomorrow. Like everything we train for, it doesn't matter what they throw at you. You're going in the ring. You're going to win.
Yeah.
You get hit with just a couple jabs. Yeah, she might have been hit hard. I'm sure she's been hit harder.
Did you see it? Did you see that?
Yeah, I was watching.
She got hit, beautiful girl. She got hit by 2 jabs, and that was the end of it.
She tapped out.
That's interesting. She said, so in other words, she should have gotten the shit knocked out of her.
No, she could have got in there and scrapped and go win. Get there, scrap and go win.
Will wanted to see blood. Will was about blood.
I'm saying we ain't come all
he
this way
wants
for
her
you
to
to
go
tap
in there
out.
and just get the hell beat out of her.
Will has seen the movie Rocky way too many times. He didn't hear no
She's
damn
Italian,
bell.
the Italian stallion, Rocky
But
Balboa.
she had a beautiful face. She wants her on the floor, bleeding profusely, broken nose that'll never be the same again, scar down the face. You're a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
You should hear some stories this guy tells.
She might have done the right thing, and I'm not one that says that. She might have. But anyway, but the two guys, there were 2 of them, and they both won a gold medal.
Mm-hmm.
How about the weightlifting? Records haven't been broken for like years, and they put an 1/8 of an ounce and another 1/8 on the, and the girl, can't do it. The guy comes along. The whole thing is ridiculous. So, okay, let's get back to your question, right? The weave.
Question, phenomenal weave.
You forgot about the weave.
Let's get back to your question.
But I didn't forget.
Unite us.
Hey, honestly, I didn't know you were going to come back to
The
it.
thing, but no, I have to do it. Otherwise, they'll say, maybe, you always have to come back. What happens is that I think that we have to have success. When I was running the country, we had, by the 2.5 year, like 2.5 years, 3 years, just before COVID came, we had the most successful country in history ever. This country was doing the best numbers in every category, no matter what category, including employment and everything. And I was getting called by people on the radical left that I would never have ever thought wanting to see me, because everybody they knew was working. Radical left people had jobs, making more money than ever. And I'm telling you, the country was, then we got hit by the COVID stuff and we had to go back to work. But everybody was working. Everybody was successful. They had great jobs. They were making more money than they ever made. Everything was good. And I'm telling you, the country was coming together, okay? Despite the fact that, what we were saying before about the divisions, like, how do you have open borders? Some people, I don't think a lot of people like it, but some people do. But the country was coming together. And now, and if you would have asked me that question before this, I would have said, it's sort of two countries and you just have to work it out. But I'll tell you, I experienced unbelievable success leading the country just prior to COVID. Numbers that the stock market was at an all-time, everything was like perfect. And the country was coming together. So now I can honestly answer that question, say success will bring the country together. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, see, we got right back to that.
Yeah.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
We have a guest question,
Okay.
and it comes from a gentleman named Jordan Roos. So Jordan played offensive line. I played with him at the Tennessee Titans. He's a massive fan. So this is a two-part question for you. I'll let you hold that.
Oh.
You want to just press play on that?
Okay. Press the middle, right?
Yep.
He's a handsome man.
Yeah.
President Trump, huge fan. My name is Jordan Roos, and my question for you is, what has allowed you to be so resilient, considering all you've been through, whether it's the weaponization of the Justice Department, attacks on you, your family, censorship, 2 assassination attempts? What has allowed you to be so resilient and to fight? And my other question, I got to know, what's the most amount of weight you've ever bench pressed?
Well, bench press?
Yeah.
No, you know, I don't want to tell him because if I tell it, it's not much. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think it's too much. It's never been my, I'd have to, let's do it sometime. Well, next time we'll meet, we'll start lifting weights.
We'll bring a bench press.
Now, is he live right now?
No, that's the
tape.
video.
Okay, good, because I'm
that he
talking
sent
to him.
you.
I'm just
Yeah,
wondering.
I'll take that back. Yeah,
Is he
I'll
live?
the
Okay,
answer,
good.
like the
well, thank you very much,
Yeah,
Jordan,
so,
and I appreciate it. And
one question- so-
he can bench press a lot. I don't know what.
He's an absolute house. There's no
I
doubt
don't-
about it.
I
He's a
could
dense
see-
human being.
He was a great player.
Yeah, good, gritty player.
Did he go to the NFL?
Yeah, he played for Purdue Boilermakers.
Oh, that's
played
good.
for Seattle for a little bit, and then
Titans.
came to the Titans.
Well, he looks like a great guy. So his question, essentially, you're very resilient. How do you basically take it? Because
Yeah.
I have been through a lot, more than any president. Tell him that it was always Andrew Jackson, they said, was the one who was most abused. Andrew Jackson, he was a good president and he was a great general, but he was a good president too. He was very abused, so much so that his wife died very, very young, and she died because of heartache of what he went through and what they went through. And the second was Abraham Lincoln, but he was in a little thing called the Civil War, right? But he was very badly abused. And now I think they probably say Trump blows him away, if you want to know the truth. I think the answer, because a lot of people do ask me this question, how do you take it? How do you take it? How do you get up in the morning? They actually say, how do you get up in the morning and go to work? They're always after you. They want to indict you. They want to put you in prison. They're animals, okay? They're animals. They're sick people. I have a guy named, I call him Deranged Jack Smith. I mean, he was put out there. This was the weaponization of justice. And probably it's the first time it's happened. I don't think I'd be as popular if it didn't happen, okay? Because I explain it to the public. It's not pleasant, but I explain it to the public, and I said, here's what happened, and they know it's true. They go after me to try and hurt me politically so they can beat me in an election. And it's actually had the opposite effect. It's made me more popular. It's actually made me more popular. And just tell Jordan, I try not to think about it the way he phrased the question. I just say, screw it. Whatever happens, happens. And do the right thing. I see guys in golf or in sports, but they want to drop a three-footer. They try so hard. And in the end, it's really unattractive. And then you watch some other guys, do you ever see Lee Trevino play golf? He loses a goose or some other, just bing, it goes in. I try to take it less seriously than I should. I should take it more seriously. But if I did that, I don't think I'd be with you guys today. I really don't. I fight very hard. And I'll also fight nasty because you have to, because these are sick people. These actually people, I think a lot of these people are sick, the people that do what Jordan is saying. And he's no fan of theirs either, I can tell you. I love him because he's like so many of our people. That's the attitude. There's spirit and there's tremendous love. But I try to be very loose and just say it doesn't matter. You got to do what's right. And I get through it pretty easily. I'll tell you, it also helps, I think, that it's made me much more popular. I don't know that I'd be this popular. I mean, I'm leading. I beat all the Republicans easily, very easily. I mean, in record time, right? Record fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And the indictments came and all the problems came from Biden and Harris. You know, she was a prosecutor. She probably used whatever talent she has, which isn't much. And she would come after me over nothing, over documents that Biden turned out to have a problem. And I won the case, and come after me. When I explained to the public, and I would have a news conference, and I would explain it in great detail, and they would believe me. They understand. It's not even a question of belief. They would believe me. But just tell him, I really appreciate him because I have so many people that I respect that are just like him. You have to just fight your way through it. And you cannot let it get you down. You have to just fight like hell and don't let it get you down. And try not to take it. It's serious. It's very serious. But try not to take it so serious that you become immobilized. Because I've had friends that have gone through far less and they become basket cases. And you don't want that to happen.
Mm. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sitting down with us.
Very
as much as you've been traveling around and stuff like that, taking this hour, that has been awesome.
Right.
We really do appreciate it.
It's all right.
Couple of boys
I
with
found
the
it
bus.
interesting. If these guys weren't driving me crazy over here, I'd stay for another 2 hours with you guys. You're two interesting guys, and that's why you're doing so well. You're doing great.
I appreciate that.
And my son says hello. My 6'9" son says hello.
Yeah.
Just 2 inches taller.
You guys are true. Yeah, he's a little taller than
Yeah,
you. I
handle business.
I'll look at some guy. I say, my son's taller than that. That's crazy. Have a good
That
time.
is wild.
fellas.
We
Good luck
appreciate
with
it. Thank you
everything.
so
Good
much.
luck with your lives.
Thank you. You as well.
We'll do it
in
again
November.
sometime.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
absolutely.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Great.
Do we want to?